Hey, check it. Hey, check it. Put the place up. Put the place up, yeah we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, boo, I'm a chaser. Face up, now I feel a little major. Link up and eye, ego I'm a taker. Shaker, yeah she was a ball shaker. She shake me out that door to no place. Damn, why you doing all that? Thought you was my wife, but you stabbed me in the back. Sounding like a rose when we came out there. We settled facts like the big G. I'm breaking bones and breaking backs. Come on, get your ass up if you're slipping. Put another smile like it wasn't last Christmas. Hey.
Good morning. Hello and welcome to the SMITE Global Series. My name's Tom Battinger, joined here by the best of tacos. How you doing today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm really excited to see what's happening right now in the Global Series.
Yeah, we're going to jump down to Latin America today and check out Dragones versus Loto Gaming. Interesting spots here down there, and as we get closer and closer to HRX, every game matters.
And, of course, Dragones, I think that they are probably one of the more well-known teams for this region for sure. They've gotten off to a couple of hiccups along the way, but Alona hoping to take the set away from them, see if they can move their way on up.
Yeah, it's always exciting. We've got a number of different players here that really can pull out all the stops. So when it comes down to picks and bans, I really get excited to see what kind of gods we get to see, because here in Latin America, it's not exactly the same sort of style that we see in NA and EU.
It can be rather aggressive. I think that a lot of the international teams tend to play a little bit further up. They like to be initiators. The Dragones especially, I think that they're going to be maybe looking to prioritize Athena, gods with globals that can definitely look to rotate around the map a little bit better, which is why we might see Loto just looking to ban that stuff away from them.
We'll take a look, getting right into P's and B's. Dragones will have the first pick, and of course the first ban. So as we get into it, things to keep in mind: gods like Baron, gods like Freya, very, very powerful, but still the globals remain numero uno. No Athena, no Chernobog, and there's Ratatasker with a semi-global, and Loto with the last ban of the phase, gonna look towards the Robin.
So jungle and a little bit of the global aspects seem to be the pressure points that they want to both strip away from the other, but that will leave the Baron selection open. Freya's still on the board as well if Loto feel comfortable with taking her for mid or hunter, but right now, as it appears, Terra seems to be the priority.
Yeah, the Soul pick has me scratching my head a little bit as far as the priority and how high it is in the draft. Terra has been really, really powerful lately.
I think that Soul as well has started to resurface a little bit more because that ring build especially gives her that pseudo-hunter type feel, yet she can still put in the magical burst damage when needed, plus the Saprate, such a safe utility tool for her escapes in mid lane. I think that if this is a Soul in mid lane, which is what I'm currently assuming so far, because the Soul in dual lane still a little bit too susceptible to those early ganks, not a whole lot of health in the health bar either because of the fact that she's a mage, and so she could kind of struggle if left by herself, but in mid lane, usually well protected by support rotations and jungle rotations alike.
Arlong Shen might be the character in the jungle. He's certainly got a lot of setup. But across the way, Dragones pair their first pick Baron Samedi with an Agni and a Naja. And I like these choices because both Agni and Naja get shut down by immediate CC immunity, and Soul has that like Desaturate that takes a second, and Naja can bring her up to the sky before that. Agni can stun her out before that, so it is a nice look there across the way.
And also, Naja going to be able to bring whoever's coming down from that Windfire Wheels is going to be met in the face of three so Agni bombs, because even all of those can be spread at the same time if it's timed appropriately. Not to mention that Dragones have a lot of space control in general currently between the Agni and the Baron. Even Naja, because of the fact that Naja just has so much pressure early game, not many teams feel very comfortable with trying to push into a Naja at the start. So any contestation for Oracles, Mid Harpies, I'd expect to be a little bit more in Dragones' favor.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, I would double down there. Interesting bans coming out. Soul and Ram, two very in-hand oriented characters, are picked by the same team that bans out the Fafnir. Usually paired up there, you want to see the Fafnir on your team.
Typically, but it appears that Fenrir is going to be the last pick god here of choice, and I'm still not completely sold on whether this is going to be Erlang in the jungle or Fenrir in the jungle. Sure. I think that both of those gods are fairly interchangeable between jungle and solo. The only part that's really certain is the fact that Huncho Jack's probably going to be repping that Terra support, and indeed, that is the direction that we're headed.
Yeah, Terra, it's been a while since we've really seen her succeed in the solo lane. Right away, though, some succession on the left side. Bayroni taking a lot of damage, but unable to find the follow-up was the Amaterasu. She got stunned. Great job by Huncho Jack to really start the game off in the way that he wanted things to. That said, his Hunter does have to go back.
It was a solid, persistent gust, though, from Viola. The fact that it caught both Huncho Jack and Beiron is more than enough pressure for Dragones that now Viola and Rongyu probably aren't going to be pressured out very much here in the dual lane. They should get lane control entirely, in fact, because Beiron just now making his way back over, and they'll probably be looking to invade this purple buff now.
Well, an interesting start over here on the right side of the map. Look at what we've seen out of Baron Samedi going into the helmet here. Huncho Jack again going to use the stun to get out of trouble. But a very interesting start for our Baron Samedi.
Every single time, Huncho is just managing to make these walls come up big. And not only, it starts off with him saving the life of his hunter, but after that, confirming the purple buff. So Lodo's duo suffers as little pressure as possible there, because keeping control of your buff timers makes it so that your jungler can rotate to assist just in case the enemy duo lane's still feeling a little frisky.
Yeah, it's all about the information more so than actually anything else there. If you have the information, you're able to translate that and make sure you can feed the rest of your teammates, and like you said, make ganks more appropriate, or even look for objectives because you know where the enemy is at least going to be as far as your part of the jungle. So Dragones trying to make use of that.
Touching back on that Baron solo lane topic, though, I actually really like this matchup for Cheetah. I think that Fenrir can be considered a bit of a lane bully, since at level 5, it's usually a free kill. Ragnarok carries any solo laner into the tower, and talking about free kills here, Shinto trying to catch out Huncho Jack. Ring toss gonna initially miss, but he'll still get the sash off onto Veron.
Yeah, the ring toss hits the minions, doesn't exactly find the primary target, and a good beads coming out from Bayroni. It means that the hunter will walk away. Shinto here, and I love this idea, looking for take 2. The beads will not be available this time, so Shinto just looking to come right back in the lane, but Dragones, the dual lane, doesn't give up the pressure, and so Shinto going to have to walk towards mid.
Part of the downside, though, for Shinto is that since he was off the mark with a ring toss, Veron and Huncho weren't actually hit by that ring toss slow until a little bit too late, so they were able to create enough space between Kebiola and Rongyu that all they really had to deal with was Shinto, and, well, quick little Terra walls are going to be able to resolve that.
Again, the dash onto Bay. Nice dodge to avoid the mirror damage. So Dragones definitely have the pressure in this left side dual lane. And with that, they're going to look to push into the speed buff, or excuse me, the purple buff. Huncho Jack shows up one more time. The stun late. The purple will go the way of Dragones. Now looking for the fight after the fact. Kebiola able to walk right on away. No harm, no foul.
I want to see Veron play a little bit more aggressive here. Kebiola was slightly poked out, enough so to where if Veron had any astral arrows whatsoever, probably could have put in the slows, followed that up with a couple more in-hands. Anything to apply some pressure to the Jingwei, because as far as turn and burn potential is concerned, probably not going to be a possibility. And now Senungo wishing that he could have had a little bit turn and burn power here, but Cheetah gonna get first blood for Lodo.
That's exactly what you were talking about as well. You mentioned that the Fenrir is gonna be the lane bully. He's gonna look to take advantage of the opposition. Now let's go back to the build for Baron Samedi. He did wind up finishing off that helmet, and this is gonna give him a decent amount of protections off the top, but then require him to sort of build it up. I like the idea in the solo lane. You're only really dealing against your lane opponent, but I mean, it didn't seem to matter. Cheetah just got him.
Cheetah didn't even use the Ragnarok at the time. Didn't even need it. Looks like Senungo just allowed himself to get a little bit too poked out by some unchains. The fact that cooldown is halved anytime Fenrir lands on an opposing god is what makes Fenrir so dangerous early on.
Left side, again, the sprint popped. Ron looking to be aggressive there. I didn't like that play. I don't think there was an opportunity there, Ron, but oh well. Dragones don't really lose much for it. They're only down the first blood, pretty much.
It's for the dominance, for the lane dominance. And lane dominance is something that all of Dragones has managed to accomplish for the first 5 minutes of this game. And yeah. Lodo has kind of struggled a little bit, but Cheetah might be their knight in shining armor if he's able to keep up this pressure against Senungo, because eventually it might start to draw the attention of Shinto, and once Lodo's duo... Oh, hold that thought. Shinto actually going to force out the purification beads one more time from Veron.
There's a little bit of initiation from Huncho, but here's Bandy. This is a big fight. The bomb's gonna miss. There's the ultimate. Shinto finds the mage. That's the jungler, and he's gone, whoever he is. Jarkor is gonna be the first kill for Dragones. Looks like that's all they want as well, Taco. A quick retreat after taking down the jungle.
Beidron nearly falling there towards the end. Got sashed out one more time, and no, he will end up falling. Rongyu was hiding right around the corner, waiting for Lodos to start pulling this purple buff, and the second that he saw Beidron still sticking around, that's when Rongyu knew he could strike.
He's trying so hard to bait Huncho Jack into sticking around. The Agni close in center. Cheetah looking for the main. Now still providing the damage, but not enough. Just at a range of the ult, and he's going to feel bad about that one.
You hate to see it.
He's going to feel bad about that one.
It happens to the best of us. Sunungo thinking that Cheetah was just a little bit closer with that life of the party. Nice Cosine Spirits, though. Going to make sure that Sunungo will at least be able to avoid the kill threshold of another Unchained, which I believe is what Cheetah was looking for off of the Brutalized. Just didn't feel comfortable pushing that far forward in case the life of the party came through, but Sunungo kind of just beating himself at his own game.
Well, with that push out, Cheetah's able to take care of the right side tower. Down it goes. Nice and easy. No big deal as far as the tower is concerned, but Cheetah has definitely wrestled control of this lane. I think that's straight up 2-level lead, not even the level and a half, more of a raw 2-level lead as Cheetah's gotten the first blood and is just looking really good here. Jarkor again to the sky.
Jarkor was not expecting the Windfire and Wheel, so suddenly he's going to land right back on top of Agni Bombs before he can even get the heal off of his ultimate, and Jarkor, for as strong as Erlang is considered to be in the early game, Shinto just constantly having the upper hand off this Ne Zha.
You know, the Ne Zha has gotten a number of nerfs since the original change to the passive, and I maintain it's really not that big of a deal. Ne Zha is a fantastic character if you're looking to be all that aggressive, and you know, people always say all in. If you fall behind on the Ne Zha, you can just be set up, man. You
know what the real difference is, though? It's that there's an Agni versus a Soul in the mid lane, and the setup for Shinto is infinitely better because Bandy can actually get off. Oh, Sunungo could be in trouble here one more time. Cheetah still looking to push forward, trying to get those rune stacks going. That way you can get the Unchained stun bounce, but Screen will make sure to finally take down Shinto as Cheetah ends up canceling out that Brutalized preemptively to make sure he doesn't take any further tower shots out of the T2.
Yeah, with that said, the tower's the only one that's coming to help Sunungo. Cheetah just looking at that left side, at that right side lane, have been so aggressive. Players on the left were stacked up 4 for 4, so not a care in the world for Cheetah as he continued to play aggressive.
Same for Kviola over in duo, 2 levels out ahead of Beidron, and he's making sure to keep the pressure going. Astral Arrows aren't even going to help out too much here because if Beidron isn't careful, Kviola is just going to end up diving this tower anyway.
Yeah, there's something to be said about a play that happens maybe 2 more basic attacks in, knock up into the ultimate, but Kviola doesn't find the enemy in kill threshold. So she plays it safe, and I do like that call because Huncho Jack is right there, lurking in the jungle.
Going back, though, to that mid-lane engagement with Shinto and Jarkor, I still feel the main issue here is that Jarkor ends up getting stunned out because of the Agni. That sets up Shinto for the Sash ultimate, and basically Dragonas just have an easier time playing around burned-out relic timers from Lodo than the other way around because Lodos just don't have that much hard CC. It's Cheetah and Huncho Jack. That is all of your hard CC, and then maybe Jarkor with the Erlang ultimate.
Cheetah gets his ultimate there, chased out as well. Sunungo pops the beads. Cheetah's totally fine. Could he have played that differently? I'm pretty sure, but I think he's not really all that concerned with how he's doing over here.
Now that Shinto's in the area, though, this could be a chance for Sunungo to find a turnaround kill, but Shinto a little bit distracted there by his own jungle, seems to be prioritizing farm over everything else, and for good reason. When you're in Ne Zha with a slight lead, you want to make sure that you can keep it going, and Jarkor actually managing to catch up off of 1 death from Shinto.
Well, now Shinto looking at himself, using the ultimate to get out of jail. Nice heads-up play there from the jungler. Bandy does not have the same luxury, and he will fall down. No CC immunity on that dash.
The dangers of a Fenrir having already taken the tower by the 10-minute mark. Cheetah is now starting to rotate. Level 10, more farm than everybody else from Dragones. And right now, doing an excellent job playing zone duty. Sinungo might not even be able to contest his Gold Fury in time.
He won't. Gold Fury goes down to Lodo, but Dragones trying to creep on in. Sinungo gets taken care of by the solo lane Cheetah. And this one's going to go down as well. 2 kills for Lodo Gaming in addition to the Gold Fury. That puts them up 1,800 gold right now. A beautiful look at 10.5.
Cheetah's farmed, and he knows it. Love seeing this level of player confidence coming out of the solo laner of Lodos, because this game was looking incredibly rough at the start. Mid lane, dual lane, both getting heavily pressured out. And then Cheetah just stands up when Lodos needs him most. And this is exactly the kind of rotations that you want to be seeing from a solo laner that's already taken down the tower. It's exactly why Sinungo, even if though he wanted to participate and help contest, can't really afford to. He's just too far behind in experience.
Yeah, just not really relevant in anything that happened. His level was too low. He's coming out of the solo lane, so he's built defensively, not going to provide the power, and he's just not tanky enough at this point to really provide the control either. So he's just kind of a man without a home. Really, really tough stuff for Sinungo, but it's all because of how successful Cheetah's been.
And Cheetah needs to keep the pressure going, because Fenrir, this is by far the easiest period for him to work with. Bandy taking a little bit more poke than he bargained for in the mid lane. Thought he was going to be turning the favor onto Spreen, but with a nice rotation from Huncho Jack, they'll make sure to keep the soul safe and sound.
Hardcore's here as well now. Trouble is Cheetah's just letting him beat up on him. Sinungo looking to make the counter play with Shinto in tow. Jarkor down to half HP. There's the ultimate, and it's doing work! Cuts him down! 1 for 1 as Huncho Jack returns the favor on Shinto. But 2 very low players. 1 for Huncho. Cheetah not willing to chase down. Barely alive, but so is the support. Very nice play. It's a 2 for 1 in Lodo's favor.
That T2 tower putting in just a little bit too much work right now for Cheetah to want to try and continue. Could have probably had the double kill, but didn't realize that Sinungo and Shinto would fall so quickly, so he used the Brutalize off of an already fallen target and didn't have it available to try and finish things off with Rongyu.
It's also 12.5 minutes. The level of play seems that we're a little bit later, but no, it's very early in this game right now.
Excellent Supernova, by the way, from Spreen there. I think actually bought a little bit of time for Hardcore. Even though he did end up falling regardless, it's still just the fact that Hardcore was able to survive long enough for that Soul's rotation to be as fruitful as it was.
Back to the Hunters here. Bayron has caught up. It's now 12-12. So our ROM player a little bit more relevant than before. K-Biola still willing to take the fight, though.
Surprisingly enough, K-Biola losing that trade, though, even with the red buff and having taken down the creep wave first. Bayron might have been behind at the start, but looking to play a little bit more aggressive right now, especially with this other rotation from Lodos. They're not going to be able to stop that purple buff from happening, but Hardcore could be interested in looking for K-Biola.
Now Shinto kind of stuck in between two. Uses the dash to get on out, but Rom's in the sky. 1 shot, 2 shot, that's all he needs. Shinto sitting down 3 deaths this game.
Beautiful punish there, by the way, onto Shinto. I had no idea that Huncho Jack was right around the corner, and Rongyu actually going to dash forward. Might be forced into the dazzling offense a little bit preemptively. Rongyu now without that CC, he's going to get rooted in place.
Yeah, it was a rough idea from the support player. I think he should have used the dash to get on out of there. Instead, Spreen's going to help him get on out of there.
There's only so much that Bandy can do in that situation.
Bandy helped him get out, not helped him start a fight.
It was poor pathing, for sure, out of Rongyu, especially after you just watched Shinto get destroyed and juggled between 3 different members of Lodo, and they're all still so healthy that I'm just surprised Rongyu actually felt comfortable with trying to engage there. It's just going in by himself, and even if you did end up getting targets low, it wouldn't matter because there's no one to follow you up.
Yeah, I think that was just I don't want to say miscommunication, it was the wrong instinct. Bandy gets 2 players with the Agni stun, and I think a lot of time as a support you go, oh, he's got 2, turn and burn. But when you're the only one there, that's the wrong mentality to have. So Rongyu kind of showing, you know, he's willing to play with the the scary situations, but that one I think was a little bit too big of a risk.
You play with fire for too long, though, and you're going to end up getting burned, and no pun intended because of the soul on the enemy team, but Spreen is seriously starting to get up there in the ranks with level 14, 3-0, and 4, almost a full kill count participation, and Throwing You could be spotted out one more time. Forced into dazzling offense for a blink out of Erlang.
Yeah.
Hardcore will probably take that trade every time.
Oh, Lodo is very happy about that one. Gold Fury started here one more time. About 75%, but leashed out. Shinto rooted, no follow-up. Lodo have control of the area, and thus the objective for now. Solo Laner slowly crossing the street. Sunugul to be tussling with Solo Lane Fenrir. Ult for beats, no big deal. Lodo again returned to the Gold Fury.
Nice little heal off the Cosine Spirits there for Sunugul, but Lodo still toying around with the idea of this Gold Fury. They've got it down to 50% health now. Throwing You going to be the first to call it out. That will prompt the leash. But again, Beiron picks it right back up.
Damage on the Cheetah. Top side. Shinto has somebody in the sights, but bottom side, Sunugul going to use the ultimate. Huncho Jack real low, make that 0. Bandy takes care of the support. Lodo Gaming now fighting 4-on-5. Sunugul very low, and again make that one 0. Beiron now a 4-on-4. Rongyu going to become the 4th. And the trouble for the Hunter. Kabiola has to be out. Bandy behind enemy lines. Spreen, Beironi. Looks like they can't find the damage. If he gets a flame wave, they'll die. Nice distancing from Lodo. And off screen, the Hunter falls to the jungler.
Both carries having to split apart. Shinto still giving Cheetah the chase of his life. Shinto going to sash out the Brutalize. That's going to buy him a little bit more time, but one Unchained is all it takes to finish off this Neja. And Cheetah getting a little bit sidetracked there, chasing around Shinto for what I feel like was entirely too long. Vedron actually going to steal it away. Bandy with the bomb over the wall. All of Lodo's thinking that this Agni had backed.
Easy peasy. Bandy shows up and just drops it. That's a big Gold Fury. That would have been the Gold Fury that took Lodo Gaming into the stratosphere, turned their 5K lead into a 7 or 8,000 gold lead. Now it's Dragones' answer back. Keeps the lead within striking distance. 3,600 gold. Absolutely something Dragones can fight into.
Even leading up to that Gold Fury steal, though, Dragones did a great job at separating the team fights for Lodo, because it started off with Shinto drawing the attention of both Cheetah and Beiron, and then Beiron actually chased a little bit too long, realizes it after it's too late, and then proceeds to turn back around. So the fight still ends up being salvaged in Lodo's favor. It's just that if they aren't as disciplined with their target focus, this one could end up just drawing back to a stalemate as long as Dragones are able to make plays like stealing the Gold Fury.
Well, Shinto gonna try his darndest to stop that. Or excuse me, Cheetah jumping on Sheet over there. Cuts him down to about 75% HP, and then looks towards the objective, the Pyromancer, so the minor objective, but an objective nonetheless. Lodo have control over it, about half, lower than that, 25. Here comes support from Jarkor, and Sunugul barely gets his ultimate off before Cheetah takes credit. Shinto going to work on the structures in the middle lane.
Same for Kabiola over in dual lane. Right now, it's up to Dragones Throwing You to run away from the entirety of Lodo's because they're looking to chase him down. 2 Astral Barrages hit onto Bandy, but with all the members of Dragones so spread out, Lodo's might be able to pull this one off.
I love this call, Taco, because they're going to start the fire, and they're either going to end it or they're going to end the lives of Dragones. Very low. They got to watch out that it's not stolen again, though. Shinto shows up. Beironi is low, and here's the collapse onto the jungler. Shinto can't find Beironi. And Rongyu is going to be next. Stun is good, and the follow-up damage as well. Spreen, his 5th kill without a death.
But Lodo's weren't able to drop the Fire Giant in time. Bandy's still alive, still could possibly play spoiler here. Beiron was able to heal just a little bit. Never mind, because Bandy's already being forced to dash away for his life. But the Flame Path, Hardcore, absorbs the entirety of the damage. Mink forming alongside of it, and because of the reset from Huncho Jack, Spreen's going to end up dying to the Fire Giant, so Kaviola still with the heads-up play, not only taking down the T1 in duo, but takes the T2 as well. Shinto got a T1 in mid lane, and Lodo, sure they got kills, but this golden experience lead is nowhere near as far as it should be.
No, not at all. Without that Fire Giant, everything there becomes the wrong call. Fire Giant was down to about 20% HP. I don't think you peel 5 members for the lone Agni. That's what Cheetah's job is. That's what Hardcore's job is to go chase the Agni while the rest of the team takes care of the objective. Yeesh. That's Lodo kind of showing their Achilles heel.
Hardcore just needs to be a little bit more mindful when going into that transformation, whether it's the mink or turtle form. That's at least the 3rd or 4th time now that I've watched him deliberately path over the flame path and then take about 2/3 of his health in return.
People underestimate the damage, but it is certainly real. Path of Flames here, look at that, just a ton of damage. It's 3 seconds for the duration, and you're getting hit every half a second. It's not fun. So
especially not when you're squishy.
Yeah, Jarkor with the build, not exactly a tank, which isn't a problem in and of itself. I think that assassin-oriented Arlong Shen is certainly an approach we've seen many players go for, but, you know, got to figure out how and why you're doing things the way you are.
Plus, with that last pull off the Fire Giant, things have kind of come to a little bit of a lull here. Beiron, though, looking to be spotted out by Shinto. Will be forced out of his purification beads, but Sprint has been popped from Huncho Jack. They're looking to run this Neja down.
Yeah, Shinto's going to find himself blinked on. Nice beads, nice dash. The ultimate used to get away from Hardcore, but this one, well, I think he's toasted now. Screen gets number 18 for Lodo. Sanungal on the run as well. Hardcore's here, and Rongyu gonna try and stop, but he just can't. All he can do is look. Spreen takes down Sanungal and is a 2 for none. The mid laner 7-1 and 7.
Practically simultaneous kills at that means that Dragones are going to have to risk it all here if they want to try and contest this Fire Giant. Rongyu toying with the thought, but it's going to quickly be collapsed on by the entirety of Lodo's Gaming. Doesn't even have a chance to try and escape. Dazzling offense never even comes out. Rongyu just explodes.
Bandy behind enemy lines. Bad spot. Hardcore again dances in the flames. K by Ola on the right side. A little bit in trouble. A lot of it in trouble. Stunned out. He's going to dash up and jump away, but I think that one's going to be the end of the Hunter. 5 kills without a death for the solo lane Fenrir, and that will open the Fire Giant to Lodo Gaming.
Dragones lose 2 members and then essentially create a assembly line of picks for Lodos. They just all run at Lodos 1 by 1, and Shinto gonna join the count one more time, just fresh off the respawn. Doesn't even have a chance to finish farming out his jungle. Cheetah gonna end up spotting him out here, and that is some rough stuff for the entirety of Dragones. Not only did they end up deciding prior to Lodos taking down the Fire Giant, so that's already a huge boon in XP for Lodos, but afterwards, to pick Shinto yet again? This Neja might have been off a little bit more than he could chew, being so deep into Lodo's jungle, because you have to ask yourselves, what was he doing by purple buff in the first place?
He had such a successful early game, right? He was able to really help his teammates out, get those assists. He was 1-1 and 3 and looking really good. And then 6 more deaths. Ouch.
Cheetah and Hardcore also, to be fair, have been working very well together. I think in terms of stacking their ultimates and their CC chains to make it so that whether Cheetah chooses to Ragnarok first, and then we've got Hardcore going in with the taunt off the Erlang ultimate, it's rather important that you don't drop all of your CC at the exact same time. Otherwise, a simple Purification Beads cleanse is going to be able to eliminate all signs of danger.
The left side, certainly a little bit of danger. Fire Giant in tow.
Shinto, slight bit of a death wish here. Could have been risky. Could have been worse, and it might get worse for Viola. Shinto actually going to dash in, but the Windfire wheels won't be any good. Veyron able to beat that one out right away. Just too predictable.
Nice job by the Hunter there. Still continuing. Cheetah making the wraparound. 2-man stun. Low is the health pool of Rongyu. Shots from Rom, not good enough. That said, the tower goes down, and Lodo now pushing forward. Cheetah taking the tower. Jarkor can't join, neither can the rest of the team. And we'll see a retreat here from Lodo.
This should be the reset for Lodo. They just got the Gold Fury. They take down both towers in duo, but Pedro not looking to give it up anytime soon. Actually going to end up rolling forward, and just like that, Lodo's end up losing their physical hunter for these sieges.
And Sunungal's going to lose his life as well. Cheetah puts number 25 on the board for Lodo Gaming. It's a 2-for-1 so far. Bandy's going to go down. That's a 3-for-1 double kill for Cheetah. Wrong you, very tanky. Not sure if Cheetah's going to be able to take that player. Running away from the 2v1, just kidding. Going directly in, can't find the stun. Now Cheetah getting slowed down. Walking away. His team taking care of the left Phoenix, by the way. The dog is totally fine if he gets walked down.
Even if he dies here, it's 100% worth for Cheetah. Viola also going to end up dropping his Purification Beads, completely tunnel vision now onto this Fenrir. No hopes of him going back anytime soon. And without beads, he could get grabbed here. This could be the outplay moment.
Oh.
Cheetah, though, goes for the Brutalize. Might have still had that Unchained on cooldown, but look who's right around the corner now. Hardcore able to rotate in.
Yeah. Rough stuff there for Cheetah. I think if he finds the jump instead of the Brutalize, then he gets the kill. But the jump was still on cooldown for a couple more seconds. Brutalizing into a hunter in the late game. Always rough.
The fact that Viola and Rongyu wasted their time chasing Cheetah in the first place, though, as opposed to defending the T2 tower, that, by the way, I actually do think they might have been able to defend with how low the rest of Lodos were after that initial engagement. Sure, Bandy might have fallen, but Bandy isn't the sole source of damage for this team. I think that Viola and Rongyu, as long as they time the crowd control with these Jingwei autos, they will chunk away at the members of Lodo. Jingwei has the Chinsai, she has the Executioner, working on finishing off that Titan's Bane. So it just seems as if player frustration is starting to take over when you see moments like Viola choosing a chase as opposed to looking to play for the team.
$27 here now. Lodo Gaming have that many kills. They're up 10,000 gold as well, and the Fire Giant poised to respawn in half a minute. Pyromancer will go to Lodo, and they've got the ball in their court. Looking to push even without the Fire Giant. I like this call. I like the proactive nature of the team.
I think they can push even without Fire Giant, just because of plays like this. Viola already being forced away. Astral Barrage going to come out as well, but third strike not going to do the trick either. Lodos end up dropping 2 ultimates for, well, the price of nothing.
Shinto kind of dragging Lodo Gaming into this area. Not taking all the bait, though, as the Fire Giant has respawned. Cheetah going to retreat back to the team, but certainly up front and center.
I think the intention from Hardcore there was to try and force out the airstrike from Viola, make him a little bit more susceptible, but it might not even be necessary because Shell's going to come out anyway along with that airstrike. Shinto, though, getting chased down by Cheetah, still on the run. Bandy's bomb's going to be able to prompt Cheetah away from here, but Fire Giant still being aggressed on.
Yeah, only about 85% as well, so a lot of damage needed to be done here. Sash in, target swap for the ultimate. Shinto looking for Spreen. Barely alive and will be kept alive. Sunungal, though, takes care of him after the fact. Fire Giant going to be leashed up. Cheetah picks up Bandy. 1-for-1 so far. Both mid laners toast.
Ring toss might end up destroying here. There's already a turnaround. Viola going to find Huncho Jack. Viola is still going. Shinto CC's out. Hardcore just long enough for these auto attacks to swing away. Cheetah will still stay standing, but for how much longer? Because Rongyu, Sunungal, and Shinto still giving chase.
He's running, and he's good. Dragones cannot catch up to the solo Fenrir. That said, Viola going to be starting up the Fire Giant.
Lodos are just splitting themselves way too often. They're spreading their defenses and their offenses so thin that it's just too easy for Dragones to punish. And now, I'm not sure that Cheetah's even going to be able to defend this Fire Giant.
Well, he's going to be able to get one. Rongyu dashes away, but he gets the kill anyway. Fire Giant going to help out the doggo. Double kill for Cheetah. Jumping away from the damage out of the solo lane mage. Not quite. But Bayron does finish up what his teammates started. 3 for Cheetah. That's a win. That is a beautiful play there, Taco.
Salvaged.
Gotta love it.
I was sold on the fact that Dragones had just capitalize and punish off of Lodo's Gaming's mistakes. It looked like a conflict of shot calls is what was taking place. Some members, like Pedron, seemed as though they just wanted to focus solely on the Fire Giant. Pedron actually getting himself poked out from staying on NFG for a little bit too long, and by the time Huncho Jack went to go help out with taking the aggro, same for Hardcore, that left Spreen susceptible to getting pulled up by Shinto in that Windfire and Wheels, and when Spreen landed at 10% health, that's when the real chaos ensues, because Lodos then have to peel away from the Fire Giant. They're already taking too much damage for it, and then they can't even save the life of Spreen, but they've already isolated themselves because they were trying to save Spreen. It just turns into a little bit of a clown fiesta there, but I am just baffled at Dragones for not looking to go for a small reset and then coming back in. They had time. There was 3 members dead for 40 seconds.
Exactly. You got to be paying attention to the long respawn timers. I expected the same thing. I really just not even predicted, but straight up expected that to happen. And when it didn't, kind of a little bit surprised there. So the 10,000 gold lead remains in the hands of Lodo Gaming. Certainly strong with it. They've got the Fire Giant as well. Looks like mid lane tower is going to be their target.
That was the best shot at a comeback, I think, that Dragones has had so far this game. But it does show that Lodos are not perfect. They do bleed. And if Dragones play their cards right, they do have moments where they can look to fight back. This is actually a prime example of it, because Shinto going right in onto Pedron, actually going to end up falling the second that he touches base again because of Bandy's bombs.
Meanwhile, here comes Sanungo. Nice grab of 2 different players. Lodo doesn't seem to mind. Cheetah looking for the wraparound. Tier 2 tower toasted. And the Phoenix is going to be next.
This is without Lodos having a hunter, by the way. Pedron has already fallen, but Spreen looking to take up the mantle as being the main DPS dealer for these objectives. Cheetah now caught up in the mix of everybody. Will find Rongyu though, and Huncho Jack gets credit for the last hit. But now Cheetah, he's got to be on the run.
Cheetah is going to be able to get out of there. Nice jump away from the ring toss out of Shinto. Lodo Gaming still here. Probably play with fire though, Taco. They are probably not as resilient to these players as they once were, and so because of that, Lodo going to slink back into the jungle.
Cheetah's teleported back into mid lane though. Nice deep ward, so no one from Dragones could intercept that teleport. Root though going to be applied onto Cheetah. Gunsign Experience not going to be on its mark. Sanungo just trying to get out whatever poke he can, and for having struggled so much in the early game with his Baron, he's certainly starting to make up for it now. Shinto, though, way deep behind everybody, is going to get spotted out here by Lodos, and it's now on Cheetah to try and run him down.
And here comes a chase. All right, maybe not so much of a chase. Shinto just escapes, no problem. Huncho Jack takes out 1. The support takes out 2. Cheetah on the back line, looking for number 3. It's going to be 1. There's the 2 shots and the 3rd shot. Beautiful combination between the 2 hunters and the solo lane Fenrir, setting players up, tearing them down, and Dragones are in trouble.
Gaviola, all these low targets, but one Jingwei can't handle all of them at the exact same time. The deicide into what is undoubtedly going to be a full Titan siege here from Lodos as they come pouring into the base. For a moment, it looked like Dragones were going to be able to come back here, but Lodos just squandering or eliminating all thoughts of that at the very end.
Yeah, just a great job coming out from the Latin Americans, and all eyes on the K9. I mean, watching the Fenrir out of the solo lane, he wrestled control early, he kept the Baron down, and then later on translated into more than just more than just control over his own man, but control over the game.
He completely saved Lodos at the very end there, especially when he was able to force Bandy and everyone else out of Dragones to reset that Fire Giant. After finding that pick on Rongyu, no one else really felt comfortable sticking around, and it was just too much to handle from Cheetah.
Really smooth stuff from Cheetah right there. Game 1 in the books for Lodo. We'll get on to Game 2 after these messages. Welcome back to the SMITE Global Series. We've got Loto Gaming versus Dragones, and Loto right now standing up 1-0 in our best of 3.
And it looked like a fairly convincing performance there towards the end. I think the start of the match was a little bit questionable there for Lotos. They were losing a lot of pressure in mid and duo respectively, but Cheetah, to be their saving grace in the end, is able to keep the team relevant. That's the important part, is that he was able to rotate and bring so much pressure that despite the lead Dragones had managed to build up throughout the duration of those early laning phases, it all just fell apart the moment that Cheetah started making his presence known.
Yeah, I mean, he had the early game pressure in his own lane, but like you said, once he was able to transition, kind of was all over from there. Got to keep that in check. Dragones are going to go ahead and ban out the Baron Samani. The first pick didn't really do them that well. So they're ban out Baron, and they're going to ban out the Rat. And then Loto bans out Chernobog and Robin. Dragones do have Athena option, which they banned last time, and they'll go for the pick.
I'm actually glad to see also that Sunungo is going to be on a different god, because I don't think that Baron game really portrayed the type of player that Sunungo is in the slightest. He just got bullied out really early on, but I want to see Sunungo on a pick that he can be a little bit more aggressive with and look to just clash with Cheetah head on. Sunungo is capable mechanically, I think, of keeping up, no problem. It's just a different story when you fall that far behind early on, and so I think it'd bode a lot better for Dragones for sure if they could have a little bit more pressure on their solo side.
Well, you want to talk about aggression. I mean, Uller first pick for Loto right now. Certainly have a lot of strength there. Uller, Sol, and Artio for Loto first half. On the other side, Dragones looking at Athena and Fafnir and Neith.
I love the Artio pick, though.
Yeah.
This could not have been a better place pick right before the 3rd and 4th bans as well, because Artio not only prevents Fafnir leaf, it stops Athena dash, it stops Neith backflip, and Neith, already with such a predictable backflip, it's bad enough where being able to telegraph exactly where you're going to land, but just imagine Artio delaying that even further. So Dragones might need to be looking a little bit more towards getting some heavy AoE control to follow up this Neith selection in case they don't want to find themselves falling victim to the chase down potential from Loto.
Loto seeing the Fenrir ban, going to go from one dog to the other. Cerberus will be selected after the fact. Hebo and Cupid, though, will round out what Dragones are trying to do here. Athena, Fafnir, Neith, Hebo, and Cupid. Very powerful, but an interesting draft for sure.
I like the Cupid at the end there. Normally, I'm not a big fan or a big advocate for the Cupid, but I think that if you're going to play this out like how Dragones have chosen to, taking the double ability hunters that will best complement Habois is probably the best direction to head in, because if any purification relics or beads are used out, even sprint shells, then that'll just open up a pathway for Shinto, I think, to really get a chance to work his way into the back line, get some nice damage spread out there. At the start with that Najah in game 1, he was very obviously dealing a fair bit of damage. It just kind of fell off once the rest of Loto started catching up, and then were able to just fully collapse Shinto every time he showed up.
Yeah, that really was the problem for me as well. Just watching kind of Shinto fall off in that mid game was a little bit rough. Cheetah on the Artio. Less aggressive than the Fenrir, but not completely a dud.
Just that Cheetah knew Sunungo would be in the solo lane, because when you see Athena Fafnir, there's not very many options that Athena could go, and I myself didn't personally believe that that would be a Shinto Athena jungle. Not really suited towards his playstyle. I think that gods that Shinto is able to just deal a lot of burst damage with are a little bit more to his liking.
And so Hebo certainly fits that bill. One of the more bursty characters in the entire game, in all honesty. And the idea of the solo Fafnir is, I feel like everybody at some point goes, yo, solo Fafnir, that'd be so much fun. And then you watch somebody stand in front of the hammer in lane, and you go, oh, it's not that fun.
It's always easy to forget until you get that friendly reminder. Okay, Viola, though, over in duo, not going to have the same lead as last time around, because Drongyu and Viola unable to have as much of an impact with this pressure. Cupid, Fafnir not able to keep up with Hancho Jack and Veyron.
Yeah, I think that's part of the course. I think anytime a Cupid kind of comes to the table, you're definitely low on the pressure department. But, I mean, we talk about the trade-offs all the time, right? You're trading off this lane pressure for a fantastic team fight ultimate and plenty of damage in the late game. Ooh, that was ugly. Bayron just missing off of the stun, but Huncho Jack now, he gets stunned out, but the minion's still here. And so Dragones can't really fight into it.
Bayron going for the fakes. Huncho Jack absorbs yet another heart bomb. Great Fafnir hammer as well to prevent Bayron from looking for the bladed arrow hail of arrow combination onto Viola. And right now, I think I'd rather just see Bayron prioritize clearing out the wave. He's done enough hail of arrow, bladed arrow combinations to convince me that Uller might not be his first pick.
Yeah, first pick for the team. Very interesting to see, you know, this go how it's going right now. If you get a first pick at Uller, you gotta be just hard carrying.
You gotta be saucing on him.
Yeah, and I'm missing it. I'm missing it. I don't know. He's not saucing. He's not juicing. He's just goofing. Not happening right now for the Hunter on Lodo.
He's had some nice axe stuns, but they just haven't really led to anything else because he hasn't been timing it appropriately with that bladed arrow. He's been using the bladed arrow on the wave and then going into the axe stance, which it's awesome to land the axe onto Viola. It's a little bit of poke. It's a stun to threaten poke. It's just that if you use your primary clear on the wave, which is understandable, you should probably wait until the bladed arrow is up again before looking for that axe stun. That way you'll have the necessary follow-up damage to actually apply some pressure onto this Cupid early on.
Cheetah over here in the RDO, playing against Sunungle. As I said, a little bit less aggressive than the Fender. Definitely not going to have the amount of offensive prowess that he did last time. But RDO still certainly swings.
Sunungle struggled, though, in terms of keeping up with rotations from Cheetah last time. I doubt that'll be the case when he can be anywhere on the map at any given moment. As soon as he hits level 5, he's already at level 5, in fact. Defender of Olympus is now available, so no respect for the 1v1 anywhere on the map. I don't want to see it, and Shinto not looking to give any respect to this dual lane. Gonna ult over to Neath.
And Huncho Jack in some trouble. There's the Neath ultimate. Gonna get him. Shinto finds it with the water cannon. And Bayron gonna have to dash away, half HP in the dual lane.
The 200 IQ play would have been for Shinto to let Uller absorb the World Weaver first, and then use the water hands, the water cannon to bring down Huncho Jack. That one was a guarantee, but maybe Shinto concerned that Huncho Jack would have been able to jump away into safety.
Yeah.
Nice knock up onto Hardcore, but Hardcore is just going to Eagles rally right on top of Shinto, knowing the crushing wave isn't available.
And the body blocks are really strong as well. Shinto almost wiggles out of there, but Spreen finds him with a big stellar burst.
And the Bologna, first time making himself known this game. Haven't had a chance really to touch on this Bologna either from Hardcore.
Yeah, interesting jungle pick. Like to see that one. Actually, you know what? I don't like to see that one. I'm just talking, I'm just going. Jungle Bologna is something that I've never really cared for, Taco, but as of late, we've seen a little bit more and more of it.
I think that homie Efe is the one who really started putting the idea of Bologna Jungle back into everybody's minds. At least he was the most recent debut of SPO Jungle Bologna that I can remember. But I guess it kind of just depends on the composition, like surrounding the Bologna Jungle. Sure. In this case, I do feel like Lodos have enough necessary frontline to really make Spreen and Bayron the stars of the show. My concern comes in with Bayron, however, on this Uller, because it's not like the ROM from last game. You're not going to have the same hyper carry potential in the late game should this match draw towards a little bit of those later stages.
Well, Shinto now trying to run away. Going to get stunned out. Help for the mid lane. And that's going to be enough. Wait, Stygian Torment going to toss two players in the middle. Shinto still finding the spleesh damage, but Bandy will be off the mark with the root. So no kill just yet. On to Huncho Jack.
My main gripe, though, with the Lodos on this Bologna Jungle is that it's kind of similar to what happened last time with the Ninja and the Soul. You have soul damage, but not until later on, and Spreen just doesn't have much follow-up for the Eagles rally.
Yeah, the soul pick twice in a row interesting selections here. Why do you think we see Spreen go back to it?
It's just safe. You can't really go wrong with Sol, even in the mid lane. Sure, there are other gods who can definitely give her trouble in certain matchups, but because of Bandy's god pick selections, it can be a little bit more difficult for him to 100-0 a Spreen as long as Spreen is playing passive, which does seem to be the case. Spreen has been clearing creep waves off that T1 tower line for the past 7 minutes now.
1-1 tie game here. Our goal kind of tied as well. Early in the game, or earlier today, our first game kind of split off around the 10-minute mark. So if things are going to follow suit, then you can expect Loto Gaming to kind of grab a decent start here in the next couple of minutes.
Things are going at a much slower pace, though, in comparison to Game 1. I think that all across the map, in fact, has not chosen to play nearly as aggressive. Maybe dual lane thing. Sparks are still flying a little bit here. Bedron seems as though he's warmed up a little bit better. Started to connect some bladed arrow, hail of arrow combinations. That's where all the real poke damage comes into play, but does need to be mindful of what's happening with the creep waves because we saw an axe stun get absorbed by those minions, and Gabiola, this is the moment he was waiting for, actually going to go right in onto Bedron, but Bedron just absorbing the brunt of it, might find the solo kill, and in fact he will. Bedron bringing down Gabiola, and now the World Weaver also going to end up getting blocked.
Out of control there, Bedron hanging on to his life by the skin of his teeth. Gabiola took the upper hand. I thought he had the fight.
Bedron also just face tanked all of the damage from Gabiola. That just comes down to Bedron being a little bit more lucky. I think that because he had the creeps there to body block the autos.
That's a big deal.
That was all the difference that it took. And I shouldn't say lucky as much as I should say oversight by Gabiola to underestimate how much of an interference factor creeps can be.
Exactly. I think Gabiola just saw the fact that he was going to cripple the enemy, go for the heart bomb, but those minions, I mean, Winions, we say it occasionally when we talk about killing Titan. That right there, that was the 1v7, and he had 6 of his friends take care of it for him.
That was the alpha play from Veronda to just tank every single bit of damage from Gabiola and still come out on top in that trade. It does matter to land those Uller abilities early on. That just destroyed Gabiola faster than what he was expecting.
Right side, Cheetah looking for an invade here, but help from the jungle and help from the other jungle. Here comes Bologna. Big hammer slam, but it's going to be silenced out. Wonderful play. Now Sanungo looking for the ultimate. Cheetah hit as well. Big Stygian Torment, 3 players grouped up. Loto Gaming, they have the damage. Jarkor falls and takes care of Shinto.
Rongyu right now just trying to run away from Cheetah, Huncho Jack, and Hardcore, but Bandy gets caught out on the rotation. Spreen still looking to play Ring Around the Rosie, chasing him down. Rongyu does jump in as well, letting everyone from Lotos knows that he's here.
And there's the damage, the hammer as well. Spreen.
Oh no.
Got him, the untimely transformation. Spreen with the double kill because the support player just couldn't keep it going.
Massive win there, though, from Lonos, and it's only getting worse for Dragones. Not only does Beiron get the red buff, but he takes down Gabiola with it. Pyromancer going to end up falling here shortly as well for Lotos, and what looked like was going to be a heads-up moment for Dragones because of the Defender of Olympus rotation ends up falling short there. Shinto's crushing wave not connecting onto anybody is the primary reason why Lotos were able to stay local.
And this is the same time that we saw game number 1 kind of go into Lotos' favor. That said, Dragones were able to wrestle back occasionally, so keep your eyes open and maybe Dragones will be able to find an answer back.
The problem is these experienced leads are going to start becoming a very heavy-handed factor against Dragones. Almost 6,000 ahead for Lotos, and just looking at the numbers alone, it's practically 2-level leads in all of the crucial roles. You've got solo laners. Well, actually, I take that back. Sunungo's only about a level and a half behind, but jungle, 2-level disparity. Mid lane, 2 levels. ADC, 2 levels. It's not that I don't think Dragones are capable of finding themselves back into this match. It's just that it's rather difficult, and they've made it more complicated on themselves by choosing to challenge Lotos.
Oh, not without a doubt. KBola here trying to do what he can. Huncho Jack on the chase. Jarkor on the bottom. Shinto knows where he's at, though. The jump onto the Hunter, not good enough. Here comes help from Rongyu and Athena. Huncho Jack going to avoid the taunt by a cost of an ultimate of his own, and the damage is good enough to take care of one. He trades out, though, with the Hunter. KBola takes him down with a Heart Bomb, and now the rest could be trouble for Dragones. Lodo surging forward. Bang! Down goes Nungul. Bang! Down goes the Hunter. And Rongyu does get one, but it's a 4 for just that. KBola likely to fall as well. Double kill for the Hunter.
Cheetah was just looking for KBola the whole time to stand right in front of him. I love this level of aggression from Lodos. And more importantly, Tom, I think I've just figured out what the problem is for Dragones. That's the 4th time now, and I'm not trolling when I say 4th time now, that Huncho Jack has gotten a 2-man or higher Stingent Torment.
Yeah.
Dragones have got to learn to start spreading out a little bit better when Huncho Jack is there, because if they continue to just get 3 men swept up, those supernovas, even if Supreme had his eyes closed, he's going to be able to land that.
It's been a lot of fun watching Huncho Jack. The Terra last game was pivotal in Lodo Gaming's transition into the leadership position, and now the Stygian Torment is. And what I like about that is that they're two very different ways to play support, right? Terra is really about small skill shots and helping you, and then Stygian Torment is the size of a wall. It's more about when you're going to use it. What is
Hardcore just thought he was a little bit tankier than what he actually is. Has the Berserker shield online, gave him a false sense of security. In that Scourge form, however, wasn't really able to find the necessary poke against Shinto. And just too many globals out of Dragones. Bandy will end up trading out his life, though, to get that World Weaver off. Sprain instantly jumped on top of him the moment that it came through. And Nungul now going to rotate in, but he's under 30% health. Both Rongyu and Nungul sent backwards. As Sprain and Veyron, they want this T1 tower. They also want to make sure that it doesn't cost them their lives to take it.
Right now, just might. Rongyu misses the stun. Man, I don't. The Uller pick is working nonetheless, but Lodo Gaming, I don't know if they're going to choose it again. Huncho Jack, nice job from KBola with the ultimate to isolate the support. But here comes the chase. Cheetah taking the tower, and the tier 1's going to fall.
Cheetah doesn't even have to do anything. He runs in, uses his dash underneath the T1 tower into 4 members from Dragones, and they're all too scared to step forward. And I can't help but wonder why. Dragones, I think, at the very least, can apply a little bit of pressure onto Cheetah when he's so obviously tanking up those tower shots. I understand that the tower was going to fall in a matter of seconds anyway because of Spring and Vedron putting in the necessary autos, but you can still look for a pick despite losing your structure. You can still put on a little bit of pressure and fall back safely to your T2 if necessary without compromising your teammates' lives if you notice Cheetah just grossly overextending.
Yeah, it just wasn't in the cards this time around, unfortunately. And Dragones now find themselves down about 5,000 gold because of it. 15.5 on the clock. And Lodo Gaming have 12 kills to Dragones' 5. The blue team has struggled in game number 1, trying to keep up with what Lodo has brought. And they're struggling here in game number 2, trying to keep up with what Lodo has brought.
Hardcore, though, so long as he doesn't continue to make plays like what he did over in solo before everything else took place, I think that Lodos can end up further extending this lead. It's just a little bit too much to handle when Hardcore runs off by his own. But as long as he's got 1 or 2 members surrounding him, this Bologna pick, I think, has actually worked out incredibly well for Lodos.
Yeah, I mean, it's done the job so far. He's been able to initiate on some certain players, 2, 2, and 6 in the jungle. He's done his job. I think I liked him a little bit more on the Arlong last time around when he wasn't swimming in fire. His ability to just really control the opposition looked a little bit stronger. With that said, I think it's not Bologna time yet. And it's almost Bologna time, where he's been able to do kind of what he is looking to do, but in the mid and late game, that's when they're asking him to sort of start these fights and be the ultimate aggressor.
He's got heavy solo laner vibes, though.
Yes.
Even with this current Bologna build, I still think that this is something that you wouldn't be all that surprised to see on a Bologna solo nowadays, depending on the matchup. And I love the Anquile rush, first and foremost, just because when you're up against a magical jungle like Habwa, probably one of the best deterring factors. Huncho Jack wishing he had a deterring factor to keep the entirety of Dragones away from him. Going to be able to jump over the wall and avoid that crushing wave from Shinto.
Up top, there's a lot of damage. Down low, though, it's 2 players from Loto. Healing up, Spreen dealing down. Shinto going to fall down. K-Biola, nice positioning. Can he get the damage out, though, is the question. Over the top comes the rest of Loto, and Dragones separated 2 players by themselves, took the 4-on-2, and won the team fight because of it. 2 for 1, Dragones' favor.
Hardcore getting a little bit baited there by Cheetah. Probably should have used his own player intellect to back off there after realizing that Cheetah was just having the intentions of looking a 1v4 there, essentially, into Dragones, but with both Hardcore and Cheetah being dead, this is now a power play moment for Dragones.
Well, they're looking for the small objective. Huncho Jack coming around the backside. And to Dragones' credit, they have been isolating him and looking for him a little bit more. Brandy low. Spreen going to take care of him. Back flips back. K-Biola low. And nice and easy. Spreen takes him down.
Bandy was trying to find Huncho Jack. Got a little bit too baited out there by the doggo, but Beiron being reminded of how much damage this Habwa can actually put in. Shinto now getting the Defender of Olympus ultimate, and Cheetah, he just respawned and came back into the fray, but now he could end up falling pretty quickly here.
But another Fields of Love looks really good. That said, Shinto dies. Double stun, double ultimate coming out from the mid lane Soul. Giant play there for Loto Gaming.
Shoutouts to Rongyu, though, with that Fafnir hammer toss over the wall. I don't think that Hardcore would have been able to catch up to Sunungul anyway there, but the fact that the hammer just stops all thought process of the chase continuing is what I think could be a bright spot.
Small objective, though. That'll put them up, what is that, 6,800? Oof. Yeah, 65 to 7,000, wave to wave. Loto Gaming right now in the driver's seat. Oh, the enemy team should do the Gold Fury.
Oh, no. This looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Beiron and Huncho Jack already rotating in. Rongyu going to be the first pulled away. Paralyzing Spit. Not going to connect. Lotos end up stealing the Gold Fury anyway. Rongyu still trying to give chase. Sprint has been popped. Spreen on the run, but still, everybody from Dragon is just interested in trying to disengage. Beiron is still giving chase, though. He's not deterred in the slightest. He understands that all the Dragones are on the escape path, but of course, Loto's still understanding that they can push in no problem.
Shinto with a great job trying to get the duel here. Hardcore trying to escape. Meanwhile, down south on the left-hand side, Sunungul trying to do what he can, but it's, I mean, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. And Loto just making it rain. Shinto, we'll see you later. The doggo knocked up. Huncho.
It's a matter of time. He has him. he's playing with his meal at this point. Oh,
I mean Shinto right now. All right, there it is. Great job. 19 to 7, 20 on the clock exactly. And Loto have themselves 11,000 in the lead.
No mana. No chance. Didn't have a blink. He doesn't have a blink at all, actually. He's got about... He went for the Beads Aegis buys on this Habwa, which could end up working against him and being... I don't know how to feel about this. I understand that survivability became a serious question here for Shinto.
You want to see the blink.
You want the blink. I don't think you can do justice to Jungle Habwa without getting that blink. That is probably 90% of Jungle Habwa is having the blink so you can initiate and burn out Beiron or Spreen before they have a chance to even respond.
I mean, when it comes down to it, Shinto... So, the Jungle Habwa, I do think can work without the blink, but you need the team around you to really make that happen. Whenever I see an Athena, blinkless Habwa becomes a little bit more enticing. But I need 2 heavy initiators. I need an Athena and another Athena, and I just don't get that with the Fafnir. So I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I should specify, for this composition,
yeah,
I wanted to see the Blink Habois. I thought that that was the original intent here, and later on, realizing that Shinto just feeling a little bit too pressured out, and Cheetah still trying to give chase right now. Fields of Love gonna come out to try and save his life, but Hardcore with the thorns. I think that might have been Shinto just eliminating himself off of the thorns there from Hardcore, but Hardcore will end up falling. Fields of Love proc, plus the World Weaver, a little bit too much damage. Bandy, though, getting run down by Huncho Jack. Escape Yolo looking for the escape route from Cheetah. Both these Guardians not looking like Guardians right now, Tom, because they are just giving full chase.
Oh, absolutely. Cheetah just hunting down the Hunter. Bayron, though, able to answer back onto the Bandy, and Cheetah gobbles up the Cupid. 2, 5, and 5. Fields of what? That's what Cheetah says.
He did it in game 1, and he's doing it again here in game 2, Tom. Cheetah's presence has just been so impactful throughout this entire set so far.
Very, very strong stuff. You know, we were talking about the relics for Hebo. I love Bracer Hebo. Bracer Hebo, because if you Bracer Hebo with 1 item of CDR, Water Hands, Bracer resets the cooldown. So you get a 1200 burst of damage, which if the enemy team is squishy, the double pump as I call it, man, you're just like they die. So they're, oh boy.
What if they have anti-heal though?
Well, no, because it's not about the heal. Like you'll take the heal as like, yes, sweet, but it's about the offensive prowess of getting the water cannon immediately. You water cannon, Bracer, and water cannon the second time immediately. They take 1200 damage before they can do anything.
Fair enough.
It's
I suppose
so fun.
in the right
so much fun
assistance composition, I could definitely see the benefits. But Shinto,
you
no Bracer and no chances of that, I think.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, he's got the Aegis, he's got the beads, he's got the means, but he just has not been able to really provide what his teammates have needed. 12-9 on the player damage coming out from the jungle Hebo. Not exactly what his job asks of him. A little bit more. Right side Phoenix already gone, and Loto Gaming looking in the middle.
Shinto is being run down right now from Cheetah. Won't even have a chance to participate in this mid lane engagement, but Hardcore taking a lot of damage here from the Phoenix, unable to finish tanking that one up fully. Loto still looking to pressure though. Sunungo going to be the first to fall here. Bayron now with that Bloodforge proc has the extended movement speed, and he's looking to keep going.
Yeah, this is going to be trouble. 2 players, 3 players already dead under Dragones. And that's going to be the double un for Spreen. Shinto answers back, but it's 4 for 1. Dribble for Spreen. That's game. Loto Gaming up on top.
And Loto with a very convincing set victory here over Dragones, and it's impressive stuff, I think. Cheetah stood out without a doubt the entire set. He was fantastic, could not have maneuvered better into the back line. Understood that his position in game 1 was to rotate, provide assistance to those losing lanes. He immediately alleviated all the map pressure and threw things into Loto's favor. Sealed the deal there. Game 1, Lotos. Game 2, again, RDO domination over in solo lane, bodying out Sunungo from solo lane pressure, making sure to rotate and have the impactful rotations. And then towards the end, I loved that he was singling out carries from Dragones, preventing them from ever even getting a chance to participate in the team fights.
He got the solo kill on a Cupid. He chased the Hebo all the way down into the fountain. He knew his job. He executed it. And because of that, him and his team wind up on top, 2-0 above Dragones. Really clean stuff coming out from them. Loto, nice. Again, #1 on top of this team. Now, coming up next, we do have a treat. So down in Oceania, there was a tie game, or excuse me, ties as we come to HRX. We've got the tiebreaker for you. Stay tuned. We're bringing you the business. Welcome back here, folks. Look who I got.
It's me.
It's him.
If it's working. Yeah, it is me.
How's it going, Agro?
Yeah, not so bad today. I'm an egghead. I've not got a crap tie on today. But
Say Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Me and Hinderman going to break this one down for you. Atletico and Insight, two of the top teams in Oceania. And when I say that, I mean that because they are literally both the top team at the moment.
And now we're going to get a tiebreaker game between the two. It's only a best of one because these guys have already played. You saw the result yesterday, 2-1.
Single game.
But it's a best of one.
Single game.
To go. What did I call it?
You called it best of
it's
one.
It's the same best of one, single games.
But when you say best of one,
why?
I hate best of one because best of a set, right? A single game.
I mean, technically, best ofs have to be odd as well. It can't be a best of two, can it?
No, but they don't have to be odd. You can have a normal best of one.
That's fair.
Doesn't have to be that strange.
The one thing I'm looking forward to, though, is seeing how the Oceania meta has developed over this year as well, especially between the top two teams and what their focuses are. Is it similar to NA? Is it similar to EU, Brazil? You know, who's it similar to? Or is it their own thing?
We got a chance to see a little bit of Atletico as they were the team that represented Oceania last time at LAN. One, they've got fresh uniforms. Gotta always give a shout out to the jackets and everything. But Coach Cutie really is a big part of what allows this team to be important. The behind the scenes action of them really works out. Insight, on the other hand, unfortunately, this is the first time we really get to see them broadcasted. A lot of technical difficulties along the way, but here, this is where it matters most. And their first selection overall is going to be the Morrigan. And they'll pair that up with an early Kuzenbo.
Well, that is a very early Kuzenbo, but I do think that a lot of regions have been not fully sleeping on Kuzenbo, but not as predominantly picking him as this. A little bit in EU and NA in the solo lane, but not as dominant as let's go with it second.
I mean, you know what it is, and I'm going to be completely honest here. Kuzenbo seems like a mean character. He's funny. His attitude or the character personality is hilarious. But at the end of the day, it's a frontliner that doesn't let you walk past him. Watery Grave is undervalued. And you're going to pair that with RDO. There's a lot of lockdown here for Insight.
I love the fact they've got RTO and Kuzenbo now, especially against the Terra and the Naja, because a lot of this is now like, well, which lane's Kuzenbo going in? Is he solo? Is he in the support role?
Sure.
Is that going to be RTO? So a lot of questions for Atletico in this one to try and find it. Now, Atletico, in my eyes, are favorites here.
Interesting.
To be winning overall, even though I believe they did lose to Insight 2-1
right.
to make this a tiebreaker situation, so it's a big set between the two. Still a raw band out as well. I think those are pretty solid bands, although they've already got Freya, which I'd expect to be in the mid lane anyway.
Well, you never know. We have seen a couple of players. Funball always comes to mind as to players kind of messing around with Freya and where she's located. We have seen Jungle Freya even. So a couple of things to keep in mind. I actually like Jungle Freya better. I'm just saying.
What, late Freya?
Then Hunter Freya, yeah. And when it comes to mid Freya, I'll flip a coin there.
I'd agree if Golden Ball and Mercury were in the game, you know? Oh, sorry, Golden Blade, I should say. And Mercury were in the game, because I think there's a few there. I'm talking about that. No Mercury picks off, which I'm very surprised about.
Yeah, instead, the jungle of choice is going to be Naja for Atletico. And then over here for Insight, could be the Morgan, but it's going to be the Ratatasker, the last selection for Insight. So all across the board, some exciting picks. I love to see the classic Janice. What are you giggling about?
No, I wasn't giggling. I was just nodding my head.
I thought you were excited.
No, I like what Insight have drafted together here. The Morrigan, when you've got a Morrigan in your team, you want to try and get some semi-globals, globals in there. With Atletico taking Giannis, you're like, whoa, jobs are good.
Exactly.
But then you go Ratatoska as well for that second Rattle, which we see so much of from a Morrigan. A little bit concerned about Atletico's draft, though. When we see a Freya banish, like, where's the follow-up damage? When we see the Naja ult, who's following up on the damage after the fact? There isn't any, really. Not true damage that you'd like to see from a big lane mage.
Yeah, a little bit problematic there. Let's take a look at Atletico, though. These two teams, as we said, the top of the oceanic world. And you probably recognize a lot of these names. Osha's been in the scene for a long time.
Doinster and Mingyu.
Tixi, Add-on, Shank, Zaze. And then across the way, you've got Insight, Chuckles, Doinster, Yada, Weave, Mingyu. You know, it's funny. I was talking to the guys from Insight, and I had said I had called Yada something silly. What did I call him? The long-haired mid-lane monster. And now they all mess around with him. He's got this long hair. He kind of looks like Steve Aoki, but less interesting. And he's got this long hair that I just always remember. So
your player facts and knowledge is just weird sometimes. Some of the stuff you talk about, like, he's got long hair. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, I love, you know, the downside of esports, for all of the cool things that esports bring, is the downside is that we see these avatars. We don't get a chance to see the players. You know, I don't get to point out OSHA's kind of Harry Potter glasses going on because we don't see him on screen until
you do at LAN. Yeah,
exactly.
At LAN time we get a little bit of that,
and that's what they're fighting over here.
Speaking of add-ons, though, on the Giannis here, gone for the Mage's Blessing at the start. Now this item, this is before the nerf, before the buff, I believe, which means it's a little bit more useful. This is kind of a trap item at the moment in this game that these guys were playing, where it's not going to give you as much as you bargained for. You don't get any base power from this, you just get some MP5 and a little bit of cooldown once you get it stacked on. But it's not really worthwhile to start the game. That's why you see the likes of Yada across the way, who's ended up going for the Book of Toth Rush a little bit more so. Getting that Book of Souls gives you a lot of power, the mana as well. And it also means you're not going to be selling the Blessing later on because it's not going to be as useful.
Well, I think it comes down to play style, which is a dirty word, and I've said that a number of times, but also the character that you're playing. When you look at the Morgan and you look at Giannis, these are two very different characters in both what they're going to do to the game and their approach.
At the moment, though, Mage's Blessing is only there for the cooldown reduction, but you don't get the cooldown reduction until you get the stacks. On top of that, Morrigan has got really good wave clear that is being pushed up even further, and add-ons is taking even longer to clear because he went for the Mage's Blessing. So put himself at a more negative in the early game. See if that transfers later on, though, because once that cooldown comes in, let's see how those global ultimates come through.
Exactly. Mage's Blessing will finish stacking about when you finish up your boots, and then bang, you've got 20% CDR just like that. And God forbid you go for a Chronos pendant on top of it, right? And when I'm looking at Giannis, as Weave takes a bunch of damage here, I'm looking at a character that's there to provide utility. The damage is nice. Sure, it's cool if my Unstable Vortex hits players hard. But Graham, if I'm able to launch out ultimates once a minute, I am much happier.
Oh, yeah, of course. The one problem is, though, is that you're against the Morrigan. And as I said, the one thing I'm excited about the matchup of Yada versus add-ons is if Giannis ults, Yada just turns into Giannis and could ult the same direction. Be like, okay, there's all the portals coming. So just try and pay attention to the portals, I guess, this game if he does transfer, because there'll be a few of them, and some of them you might not be able to walk through.
And again, in the interest of kind of showing people these players if you're uninitiated, I think it's also an interesting kind of breakdown of the player and who they are. Add-ons is, you know, it's funny. I think he'd be the last one to admit this, but Add-ons thinks about the team a lot. Add-ons is a real team player, even though he wants to think of himself like Kobe Bryant. He's a real pass-first type player, whereas Yada, and I mean this kind of in the nicest way possible, a little selfish. Homie likes to just be the big man on campus and likes to be that player. And for what it's worth, Insight works well when he's hard carrying. So it's two different mentalities as well. The cooldown reduction, chasing out those portals for the teammates across the way. Yada wants to hit hard.
Mingyu just avoided that banish from Zero. Zay's there for a second. But this aggression of the Jolin has worked really well for Atletico in the early stages, actually. Shank ended up with a lot more potions still in the inventory. Got his blessing stacked up a few seconds earlier than Weave too. But Weave and Mingyu really just trying to survive this laning phase more than anything else. Jingwei in the early game, Clay is a little bit lackluster.
Oh, Texi right there, using the ring bounce and finding Yada on the top and the bottom. And that's going to be first blood for Atletico.
Really do like the fact that you pick Naja into Morrigan, though, because when Morrigan tries to, you know, stealth away, well, throw it at the clone, because it'll bounce towards her if she's still in range. Much like Loki decoy, you know, if you throw it at the decoy or Vulcan turret. It's one of those interactions that people always need to be aware of, that Naja can, you know, make use of that against you.
Yeah, you can't stealth near a Naja. It's one of the more obnoxious things that Naja brings. I've been on the Naja train pretty much since I got to talk about SMITE.
Yeah, can we not get back on that train again? I mean, I wasn't intentionally trying to bring that up, but yeah, Tom, you like Naja, and Freya, and Hebo, and Chuck. They're the four. You used to like Sobek, but then we see him in solo lane every day.
Well, I like Sobek's tail.
Why do you like his tail?
He's got a nice tail.
Okay. I'm not gonna go there. I don't really stare at Sobek's tail too much.
I mean, it wags. He waddles.
Is it because it's like a dog's tail? Is that why?
No, it's because it's like a lizard tail because he's a lizard.
That's true.
I do like it. Naja, on the other hand, though, I always thought Naja was kind of criminally underselected. He gets buffed to the high heavens. And everybody, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't select him. Now, he's been brought back down to earth, and people still realize the power of Naja.
Definitely so strong. I mean, he had a couple of changes to basically how his passives were. But look at this, Dunksters in the sky.
He's going to land right on add-ons. Nice job with the beads there for the mid lane mage. And Texi ults right on out of there as well. Atletico, nice response. And because of it, they're going to stay in control here in the middle lane.
A little bit overdone by Atletico, I would say there. If you think about it, they've cost 2 beads and an ultimate to get themselves out of the danger there. Addons was out. Now, I like what Texi did, in fairness. He tried to be the supportive jungler and make sure his mid laner got out. But he should have had confidence in the mid laner. The communication should have been a little bit better there. Of like, hey, I'm okay, don't need help, you know, but split seconds in light, it's kind of tricky. I can see both sides, but a win for Insight.
It's actually funny because that's where I was going to go with the Naja, with the Naja conversation, was that you can be the aggressor and you can do what we saw him do to Yada over there in the early stages for First Blood. And then 1, if you need to, or 2, if you fall behind, you can just become real setup oriented.
Yep.
It reminds me of how Thor was just this evergreen selection once upon a time. You could just crush people with double taps, or, oh no, I'm 0-3, now I'm going to be stunning people and initiating. Naja does the same thing here in 2018, and so I'm a really big fan of the Lotus Prince, and I like to see Atletico go in that direction.
A little bit of a gold lead right now for Addons in the mid lane, I'd say, just because he's actually spent some of that gold too. Got the tier 2 soul trap online, as well as the full boots, whereas Yada still only boots 1, which means he's going for the full book of top.
And actually, you know, I was very excited about this Giannis build because I thought we were going to see blue boots, but instead we see power boots, and not the cooldown build that I had originally anticipated.
That's unfortunate for Doinkster there. You've got to get this pressure onto the Giannis a little bit more so, especially knowing Texi's ult was down for a moment and his beads too. Catching add-ons there was the real play, but they just didn't have the claps from Insight where they should have to try and find it, unfortunately. So that window's going to start wearing off now. There's only 50 seconds left, and he's still got his ultimate available too, so.
Red buff secured here by Texi. Very important secures as well. Insight are a team that can definitely look for the invades, whether it's Doinkster coming down from the sky, Yada coming down from the sky, right? And then Weave trying to zone players out. Insight have a very good composition when it comes to looking for the invade. So really important that Atletico are able to really secure that for their mid laner.
Yeah, at the moment though, this one's just going to drag on a little while at the moment. Osha's getting a little bit too defensive here. Coming back on his own, this ultimate rotation, not the greatest out of Atletico, honestly. Addons placed the ult a little bit too far behind, and now it could be turned around on.
Yeah, Doinkster looking for it. Not sure where he's going to really find it, and he won't. You know, just play it safe. And I respect that call, Hinduman. I think that the idea to fall back in that regard is so much more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
You see a couple of players kind of isolated, your teammates are in range, and a good team decision from Insight to peel everybody back.
I really am, though, feeling that both these teams are a little bit on edge in this one, because obviously the winner goes to Worlds. The winner gets to come to the placement stage.
I mean, it is a
best of 1.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a single game.
It's a single game, a best of 1. I knew you were setting me up for it. That's why I said best of 1 again. But yeah, like, I can see there's 1 or 2 plays here where I'm like, okay, is this them playing that way, or is it just a little bit of nerves here?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's played a little bit safe, a little bit safer than you'd expect, you know, escaping rather than going for a kill, and that can make sense in a matchup that's so important.
And I mean, these guys, like I said, the majority of these players are veterans. Mingyu has been to LAN here in America a number of times, has found himself in the finals of his region even more so. Weave, no stranger to the bigger side of tournament play. Yada, Doinkster, Chuckles, these guys have been around since minute 1.
Doinkster might not be around much longer, as he's going to get hit by the ultimate from Zaze as well. He was trying to hold on to it, just picked off in the jungle. Beads down, ult down, and that's one of the reasons. It's just a good timing window from Atletico, and good wall coverage too.
Zaze is one of the newer names to me personally. I'm sure he's been working out in the Oceanic region.
Zaze is one of those names that I'm always like, is it Zaze? Is it Zazie? You know? Zaze? Like, it's one of those names where people will end up tweeting at you going, you're saying it wrong, and it's like, Z-Az. You know what I mean? Something like that. You're like, okay.
It's Z-Az.
I'm going to go with Zaze.
I'm going to go with Zaze.
For now.
I called him, so I refuse to admit that I have a vision problem. This is a big deal for me. And I thought it said Zazo for the first 2 games I casted.
I mean, Zazo is okay.
I like the name Zazo. It sounds like Zazu, which is the bird from the Lion King.
Oh, I was thinking of Vuvuzela for some reason when you were saying that.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why I went to. I was like, oh, no, that's not the same thing.
The Vuvuzela?
The Vuvuzelas.
We should give those out at DreamHack.
No.
Oh, yes, we should.
No. We scream as it is at DreamHack. We don't need to scream anymore over Vuvuzelas. That's where I'm at.
These teams fighting for DreamHack right now. They're fighting for their chance to really come here, play through the placement round, and then be there. November 16th through the 18th. It's the big show. You're going to want to be there. HighResExpo.com if you don't have tickets already. Atletico and Insight. One of these teams might have to be buying tickets. The other will be able to just get here nice and easy.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? Want to be able to buy tickets if you want to get here nice and easy? Oh, okay. So
if you lose, you got to buy yourself a ticket.
I was so confused. I was like, wait, they have to buy their own tickets too after winning this?
No, if they lose, they got to buy their ticket.
I was like, poor us, man. That's pretty rough. This game so far, though, I'm waiting for the next Gold Fury. But once again, Dogs are on the aggressive, catches add-ons, gets the beads after the pull, making sure he's focusing out add-ons every single time this Giannis. I don't think it's a terrible decision to keep the Giannis pin back because he's the one that's going to facilitate Atletico to do what they want to with these portals.
I don't know if I like the ultimate trade for the beads. I think that's a 50-50 win, but I would have preferred a 2-for-1.
He's the only one that realistically can get in range, though, with that ultimate. If you look at the rest of the squad, it's kind of run at them hard and fast and throw Nene cappers, you know? That's where the difference is in this comp. Now, eventually, Yada will get online, but all Yada wants to do for now is farm. And maybe you get another chance. Now he's got 2 abilities.
Oh, my goodness. Texi with the beautiful team play just jumps right in front, looks for the ultimate, saves his mid laner, and dishes out a ton of damage, setting up the Freya for the kill.
Yada, though, did transform and got away, actually using Doinks' Ratatoska for his advantage. We've doing a good job work of zoning, but watch out for Rasha behind you.
Weave is in trouble, but there's the watery grave. Shank trying to make it happen, and Weave will exit upside north.
Good little work from Chuckles there, actually, just throwing his weight around a little bit, showing, you know, that if you stick around. Lotball, I do notice that Australia's definitely a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Careful around Kuzumbo. Like, a little bit more respectful, I guess is the right word. They're showing a little bit more respect than a lot of people have been doing towards Kuzumbo on how much damage he will put out by just existing in your face.
I like Chuckles' play there as well because I think a big part of what Kuzumbo brings is that ultimate, and it's... When you hear ultimate, you kind of want to save it for the perfect moment in the team fight, and I don't think that's what Watery Grave is built to do.
I mean, it can be at certain times if you catch people against walls and things like that, but generally, Kuzumbo is like, it's all going wrong! Yeah. And he's just like, Watery Grave! And then everybody's just like, run away from Watery Grave! And his team's like, okay, they can't get near us for a few seconds, you know?
I want you to have a quick trigger finger on that ultimate if you're playing Kuzumbo. You got to be using it early and often, just messing with people, using it as a zone idea.
Kuzumbo's best situation, though, is that he wants to just get in your face and go, hit me. And then when you keep hitting him, just go, stop trying to hit me, and he's just going to get his cooldowns back, keep poking you out over and over again. The more you hit him, the cooldowns get refreshed because of reflection. Here we go again, though. Dunks is in the sky, looking towards Zaze this time.
Zaze takes off, and that be that. Ultimate for ultimate. That's really what we've seen Doinkster do here is he's just been looking to, I'm going to go in the air, somebody's going to lose beats. Somebody's going to lose ult.
Well, the good news is what you saw, Zaze ulted there and add-ons as well to make sure that Freya was safe. So that ended up causing a couple more problems for them. So Doinkster, even though he's using his ult pretty much on cooldown, it is making an effort to help them out from inside. The problem is it's Atletico who've got all 3 kills, and 2 of them are on Zaze. So I do like the focus out from Doinkster now to start paying attention to the duo lane a little bit more.
Yeah, and we didn't even mention that coming into the game, the fact that Zaze is playing, you know, the hunter Frey, the carry Frey, if you will. That's been the biggest change, the hardest change for me. The gold's here right now, started up by Atletico, already down to 70%. Weave is in the area, taking care of some vision. I'm not afraid of an RDO.
I'm a little bit worried about Secure. Maybe the airstrike, but he's not going to get in range at the end there. Maybe you couldn't get around the corner in time. Weave trying to keep them busy. Got a lot of damage off into Shank, who was tanking up the Gold Fury. But then the peel is good, and the runaway seems to be better.
Yeah, this is totally fine. Atletico is gone. Kuzumbo is going to be messed with. But, oh my goodness, that is wonderful coach play by Atletico. Even if they lose tier 1, I don't care. That was wonderful coach play. Insight has been using Doinkster time and time again to chase out beads and ultimates, and I was just waiting when Atletico were going to punish that.
And they're trying to punish us some more, actually, here. Well, Insight trying to answer back a little bit more, so I should say, at this Pyro. And the one thing I do like about this decision from Insight, it was actually Atletico who were like, hey, we don't have very good Gold Fury or Fire Giant Secure, but we caught Insight with the pants down because Insight weren't expecting us to do that because they knew we didn't have very good gold periods secure.
Well, if Doinkster's going to use his ultimate on cooldown for nonsense, then I'm going to take advantage of those situations where you're going to want that ultimate.
We could be in a lot more trouble, but I don't think OCE and Addons were ready. But that's the issue with those two gods together. Now it's Doinkster back at it again.
The up-down's kind of good, but Addon's able to turn around. There's the Watery Grave again, separating the team fight. OCE's in trouble, but Yada goes into the Ratatasker.
Yeah, but just to get away, he's too scared to go back into this fight. That was a well-played fight from Atletico, actually. They technically initiated, getting a bit aggressive onto Weave. That forces Doinkster to come back in and make it a turnaround counter-attack.
Right.
But the space and time from Addons did a lot of damage through the team, and he managed to survive a lot of the damage from El Chuckles there, who's now just trying to defend this tier 1.
Yeah, I really liked the play from Addon. Jake's ability to just turn around and take care of the opposition was really impressive because, again, it's about staying mindful in these team fights in this type of game. This is a single game set.
Best of 1.
This is a singleton.
Best 1.
A standalone game.
We'll talk about it a little bit more as well. It's also a tiebreaker too.
That's really what I'm coming down
to.
to.
Doug, so there. And the one thing is, the winner of this goes to play, since we said it earlier. You know who they face? Trifecta.
That's a winnable game.
Well, the question is,
and I don't even mean any disrespect to Trifecta.
No.
I think that the lower end of the SPL is absolutely within striking distance of either of these teams.
Completely agree, and I'm excited to see how that plays. So that's why I'm watching now, because whoever wins this one, what can they do against Trifecta? If they lose against that one, they're probably facing off against some minor league teams, I believe. Could be their second round. If it doesn't go so well for them against Trifecta.
Wow. This is, yeah, this one is for all the marbles. This
or they probably get rival. Because I kind of did a breakdown of worlds of like what they expect. And like round 1's Trifecta. Like guaranteed at this point, whoever comes here will go from Oceania to take on Trifecta.
They might actually be able to win a game.
Yeah. A set would be really interesting. But it's double elimination too. At the moment, it's Atletico in the driving seat, but not by a whole lot. It's just really the Gold Fury and those couple of kills separating it. The mid-camps kind of been relatively split evenly. Although, experience lead, 2 levels for Addons in the mid lane on the Giannis. Definitely more impactful than the Morgan.
Sure. I think that's made up a little bit in the jungle. The Ratatasker Doinkster has been able to stay a little bit more farmed.
Which is really impressive that Doinkster, every time we look at the map, go, hey, it's a Doinkster, but he's also farming better than Texi. Bit surprised. Talking about Texi though, he's farming a little bit better, at least towards Ming Yu, who has to use both his beads and his airstrike defensively. Tier 1 town on the left is already down for Atletico here. They're slowly starting to run away with this because Insight can't find a kill.
Addon's in trouble, running away from the Ratatasker. Portals from the left to the right, from the right to the left. Now, he's going to stick his right foot in and his right foot out. Portal through the wall, safe and sound. Ming Yu not done just yet. Yada in the sky looking for take 2.
Chuckles is here, and Yada just didn't find the damage, but Chuckles are cleaning up. Yada 1 hit from Death, got to detransform soon, and got to run away from Texi. Texi doesn't use the ring toss, I guess he wasn't available, so Yada will escape.
Chuckles has been great this team fight. 1 for none. Yada barely out, but technically the 1 for none. Atletico could fight back if somebody catches up to Weave. Osha's going to isolate Chuckles, and there's the stun again. Texi looking for some more help, but I think that's it.
It's Cousin Boat. You're not going to kill him.
Exactly.
To be fair, with a Cousin Boat at this stage of the game who's level 17, it's going to take your whole team a long time to burst him down.
And look at the build that's coming out. I love the Stone of Gaia. OCE doesn't trigger it there, but does a ton of stats.
Came around the back and got evaporated immediately.
Watery Grave!
Again by Chuckles. He's going to zone 1 or 2 away. Actually, he might be able to get a kill or 2 of his own.
He just might.
Good
Chuckles has been an incredible asset to this team fight. Shank gonna go down. Sumo slam. Gets him with the turtle claw. Shank falls down. It's 5-2 Atletico, but Insight fighting back.
But look at what Atletico's done in this game. It's 5-2, you just said, yeah? Where's the 2 kills? They're on Kuzumbo. He's the only one in this game that's really making an impact, and it's because they just can't kill him. The rest of the team are either scattering, running away, or burning some CCs in the first place. And then Kuzumbo's coming in going, okay, well, nobody can kill me, so let me clean up some pieces.
I mean, that's solo lane, right?
It is, but it's worrisome that if the rest of the team can't find kills, which means they eventually can't get items or they're forced back to base, they're not farming. Whereas Atletico have pretty good self-peel on this team as well for the most part. Freya's banish is going to get her away a little bit more so from the Kuzenbo, and Giannis portals too.
But Freya can't even look at the Kuzenbo, otherwise she dies.
True, although...
You shell spike Freya damage with thorns?
In fairness, though, Alchoco's build isn't very magical defense heavy, which is quite surprising to me when you've got add-ons and Zs on these magicals, especially Freya. A little bit more magical defense could help out some, that's for sure.
Riddle me this. If I'm Kuzenbo and I build all this magical defense, then the magic dealers aren't going to attack me. But if Freya attacks me and I thorns shell spike, Freya dies.
But you take more damage than you should.
Sure, you're going to take more damage, but she's going to take even more damage, as opposed to not even bothering with you, right?
That's fair.
You know, there's that's at least my thought process. Is Chuckle's saying, "Look how squishy I am. Attack me," and then punishes you for doing just that.
So far, though, it's been all insight on the aggression and all Atletico playing the counter more than anything else. Outside of the Gold Fury, they technically counted insight at that Gold Fury because they recognized there was a window for people going back to base. And look at this, it looks like they're going for a cheeky little pyro attempt, but this time, Insight are well aware, and they're also on the Gold Fury.
Yeah, here comes Chuckles, and I don't care about the pyro. Oh my goodness.
Space and time fired. He went for the... That was a big play from Atletico going for a sneaky. I think he should have fired that earlier if I was add-ons. Just go and try and make him reset it, you know? Don't let him try and secure it. You got a pyro for gold, that's not a good trade.
Yeah, it's not a good look there from Atletico. I think they misunderstood the objectives. How much gold do you get for the Pyromancer, Hainan Man?
Less than a Gold Fury.
You get 500 gold in total. But the important one is less than a gold fury.
I don't care about the gold cost. It's just like, it's less than a Gold Fury. So overall, you get a bit of movement speed from base. Well, you're going to go back to base first of all.
That was the wrong call from Atletico, black and white.
They get a tier 1 tower in the mid lane and a Pyromancer. A little bit of chip damage on the left-hand side then from Mingyu, who got the Gold Fury. He may get caught back, and if Tex is quick enough...
Nah, he's too slow. I mean, Atletico and Insight both trade out tier 1 towers, except one gets an objective and the other gets half an objective. And that's just, I like the idea of Atletico just trying to do something, but they did the wrong something.
In fairness, Atletico, in my eyes, they went for Pyro, right? And they had Giannis to defend the Gold Fury. Now, what happened with Giannis, I feel like, is that they went for the steal rather than the defense of the Gold Fury. If he just walks up as Giannis and goes, "So what you doing? You're doing the Gold Fury?" That enough, it should be enough to make them go, "Oh, we can't do this because he's in the area and I could die."
Maybe.
Put a portal on the ground underneath the Jingwei. You know, force the reset. That's all you got to do. And then let your team buy time to rotate over.
You know what? I'm all aboard the call. Because if add-ons gets that
Are we
steal...
doing another F where you're just going to argue the fact?
No, I'm dead serious. Okay? I just spent a week in New York, by the way.
I know, I've missed you for a week. That's on my, here we go, it's day 1.
Well, no. I am just willing to like see it and rectify my statement. So Inside are going for the big play. They're down 2K, which means they're not down at all. I don't really care about 2,000 gold at 23 minutes. It's whatever.
Oh, that was a nice little blink ultimate coming out from Texas straight over the wall there. But where's the follow-up? The spacing. That timing from add-ons was inch perfect. That makes up for the Gold Fury, that one, in my eyes. That was a good timed ult.
And with that in mind, with that timing in mind, they're down 2,000 gold. Doesn't matter to me. So what they do is they go for the minor objective. They force the opponent to do the duh play, which is the Gold Fury. That is, obviously you're doing the Gold Fury.
Sure.
They played it in the hand. The idea was let add-ons steal the Gold Fury. They had faith that add-ons would steal the Gold Fury.
Well, this Fire Giant could be a little bit risky, especially with Chuckles being around who's water great can cause problems. Doinkstead, go into the sky, Yarda.
This is good time.
Turning into Yardas and space and timing through. Fire Giant goes to
Insight. They get it! Insight snatches it out of the hand of the yellow team. Atletico can't help but watch. Now they're looking for the team fight after the fact. Weave, he's going to donate himself to the cause. Mingyu falls down, or previously was taken care of. So 3 players with the Fire Giant buff. They take it away from Atletico. They keep the game tied for now. Woof.
Good play from Insight. They did what they needed to do, which was stop the Fire Giant, steal the Fire Giant. Win for them. Disappointing from Atletico. I said at the start of the game and the first Gold Fury where I'm like, hey, they're clear, their Gold Fury is secure, or Fire Giant objective secure is not great at all. They take a 4v5 there where they've got to deal with the fact there's Doinkster in the sky, Chuckles is going to disrupt them all the time. when they're trying to do this fire giant, it's too risky. I think that risk was way too much, and if they do that in the future, they're going to get punished for it.
Exactly. I liked the play before when it was we're gambling everything on the Gold Fury. They put everything on black, and they lost the roll. That's totally fine. But here they put everything on green. That's like harder to get than black, right?
Yeah.
Here they put everything on green, and it was too big of a bet for my wallet. I did not like that. I'm down to make the risk over reward play, but you got to have some sort of advantage.
They knew when they did that there was a risk they could get it stolen, but they had a plan in their head, and I don't agree with that plan.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Whatever happened there against the fact that there's a Morrigan and the Rat Ultimate and the Cousin Bow, they're the three on my own where I'm like, this is a little bit rough to try and trade just because, well, these get very good at interrupting us more than anything else, or Yada appearing out of nowhere and causing problems.
Watery Grave is...
I don't know who stole that, though.
Watery Grave is just one of the more obnoxious... I'm trying to do this thing, and Kuzenbo just keeps saying, no, 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 like over and over again. You're just not allowed. Just not allowed. Insight, though. Nice real takeaway. Can we take a look at the graphs, please? I think this is a really interesting sort of showcase of what Atletico has done. You see that around that 24-minute markish where it spikes down. That's the Gold Fury. That was their first gamble. Yeah. And then where it evens up, that's their second gamble. They tried twice, and they come up empty.
Love this play from inside, though. This is going to give them the gold lead for actually the first time in the game. They get the Fire Giant off a mistake from Atletico, in all honesty, and now they capitalize on it and get a gold fury. I would like them to start pushing out the lanes now. Maybe group up a little bit, look for a tier 2. Left-hand tier 2 is relatively free. Fire Giant's down, so you don't have to worry too much. And the tier 1 on right is also available. Start taking some of these towers down. Start extending the gold lead. That's what you're looking for if you're Insight here.
Exactly. The hard work has been done. The peeling yourself off the floor has been done. And like I said, they were only down about 2K.
The concern for Insight as a team, though, is that they've still not grouped up once this game. Not once. They've always had a man missing for some variation of being in the other lane or something. But that whole composition is about team fights. It's about as a whole 5-man team fight. And without a member of that team, it limits them more and more. And now I'm watching them kind of like, well, deal with Atletico, who are the ones being aggressive against the Fire Giant.
Looks like they're trying to change that. Team fight off the mark as Doinkster can't find the ultimate.
Space and time from Yada, though.
And that's going to cut right down the middle, and now he's going to look for the team fight. Here comes Chuckles trying to separate himself, but the rest of the team piling on.
There we go. Airstrike over the top from Mingyu. Didn't do a lot of damage. Space and time from Adonso. Wrecks Mingyu, and Neddy's taking on more than bargain for his beats, and Aegis now on cooldown. Doinkster can't eat any more of those shots from Texi as well, and Zaze and Osha just trying to slow them down.
Texi uses his ultimate there and gets stonewalled. Osha still has his. Gonna use it to catch on up. Meanwhile, Weave, 4-man stun. Osha trying to catch on up. Again, Weave will be the sacrificial lamb as the rest of Insight find themselves upstream.
Atletico, whenever they've been on the counter-attack, they played really well. Like, the engagements have been good. I don't think Insight's engagement there was very good until they used all their ultimates to try and start the fight. And then Atletico went, okay, well, we still got ultimates left to continue the fight, and you're all in the odd positions.
That was one where, you know, and I understand where it comes from. Doinkster goes for the ultimate to initiate, and he misses. And then I think the call is, well, they know we're coming. Let's just go for it. And they felt that was their opportunity. They felt that was their window. And they forced that fight.
So here's the thing, though, that Insight need to realize, looking back at that fight that they forced, what you're talking about there. What do they get if they find all those kills? If they find 3 kills, let's say we get 3, right?
Left side Phoenix.
Well, they get left side tower because that's already dead, right?
Right.
And then maybe the Phoenix if they kill the right.
I think they definitely get the Phoenix because don't forget Chuckles, Doinkster, and Yada. Even though those aren't your 3 ideal, they still had a Fire Giant buff.
So the trade was go for this fight, hopefully get 3, get a Phoenix in left, or what we could have done is just push down left, taken that tier 2 tower. They wouldn't have stopped us there.
Sure.
We could have also sent one to the right, take a tier 1 tower there as well, and then look to pressure more lanes or group for a Phoenix fight. Now, they've given Atletico more confidence in these fights and actually hit themselves a little bit, hindered themselves because they lose a tier 2 tower.
That's fair. Yeah. Not both teams kind of fumbling a little bit here and there. 70% of the Pyromancer so far.
They're doing it right in front of them again.
The Pyromancer...
Atletico do not have very good setup. Dunks is going up, though. There we go again.
He's going to look for add-ons. He's been repeatedly looking for him, but this time he finds nobody. Insight, peel back. Now this is... Peel Go the other way. Good job.
So the whole game now is Atletico get aggressive and then go, hey, we're doing stuff. Get aggressive, inside do, and then counter-attacks. Warrior Grave now down. Where's the turnaround play from Atletico?
Well, here comes the portal right through the middle. Trouble. As his support's on the right side, and Add-ons just answers back. Doinkster gets doinked. Yada. Osha's on the charge. Oh, he turns around. Add-ons with a double kill.
Credit where it's due, though. I like the idea from Yada there. But this is Atletico going, hey, inside. You want to fight us? You want to fight us? You want to fight us? No, we don't want to fight. Now we want to fight. And just getting kill after kill. And eventually, Chuckles can only stand so long, especially, well, we're getting bursted by 5.
Atletico right now wrestling control of the game back into their position.
Now, Atletico playing this, they know insight. They know these teams. They play this team, I guess, regularly. The one thing Atletico need to do now is look towards some of the issues that they're having, like, because they're baiting them in.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do that against other teams in the international stage, you're going to get punished a little bit more so. And that's what I'm a little bit worried about if Atletico can close this out. Insight, on the other hand, they're very good at getting baited into fights.
Exactly. I mean, Atletico are doing kind of the game. They're trying to lure these players into these team fights, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting what they ask for.
They're running risks every time with it. And I'm like, ooh, they definitely do like a little bit of gambling on ours. I'll say that, that's for sure. But Atletico in a commanding lead now. They get the second fire giant of the game. They also have, well, technically they get the first fire giant of the game because the first one was stolen. But now they've only got Phoenix's to assault. The rest of the map is down. They've got a Gold Fury, which Naja could technically be stolen. Or the team could rotate over and deal with. 7,500 gold is impactful at this stage. Not everybody on Insight is full build yet. And experience, well, that's even. It's just about team fights now. And there is a bit of an issue for Atletico in team fights, I think, on Phoenix lines. Because Siege in Season 5, probably the most important and most different change we've had in SMITE.
And this team composition from Atletico is not exactly proficient at the defense. They've got a strong offense. I think that Add-ons comes through by way of the angle that we always see, the diagonal angle into the Phoenix, and then Osha can just sort of tank up. Texi takes somebody.
Oh, you meant on offense? Yeah, because you said they're not very good on defense. I'm like, oh, Osh, you meant Atletico are not good on offense. That's what you meant.
No. Atletico are fine on offense.
Oh, really?
I think if Insight does wind up taking the fight and turning things around, and Atletico are forced to be on defense, they're not going to be able to do well. Shank is a fantastic defensive selection with the Terra.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are characters that have to be sieging. And if they're not holding the ball, so to speak, things kind of go topsy-turvy. So Atletico have to win here.
This is a chance, though, for Insight to show how their comp works as a whole 5-man unit. They've also got Ming Yu on the Jing Wei, who can get behind them with her passive. She can come from base too.
That's true.
Front line, they've got Artio, Kuzumbo. They can block a lot of damage and stay there for a while. And then eventually, Atletico gets lazy, gets greedy, gets annoyed. Then you've got Doinkster to go up and go, okay, now we'll fight.
And talking about Doinkster, I love his ability, and as much as I don't like Atletico's ability to play defense, I like Insight's that much more.
Yeah.
Doinkster is going to initiate on the opposition, cause some trouble, right? Chuckles is going to take up a lot of space, just stand in front of a Phoenix with Thorns active, and then Shell Spike active. There's so many options for Insight.
Now this is where Atletico have like pigeonholed themselves into an awkward spot by taking all these towers down and things. It would have been almost better for them to leave a tower up or two, then go for picks.
Why is that?
Because they're in open play. You're in an open field. You've got the Yarnish. You've got the mobility. You've got them away from the Phoenix line, which is going to be so hard to push down.
Giannis just gets okey-doked.
This is the problem. Atletico are going to slowly just keep getting poked out. And by the time they've taken enough damage, they've got to try and separate Insight now. They've got to try and make them maybe a 4-1 split left and right would be nice. But the question is, who do you send to the right? Someone that can threaten the Phoenix at least is what you want.
Is this a waste? They're done with their fire giant.
Yeah. There's something they could do. They got the towers though, granted. Gold Fury on the way back,
They
I
did
guess.
get the towers.
But the Phoenix line is the problem. The Phoenix line is always going to be breaking the spaces where Atletico's downfall is in composition draft, as well as what Insight drafted for defense.
What Atletico need to do, like I said, I mean, these characters they have are all very proficient at raw aggression. And we have spoken very strategically about Phoenix Sieges and composition and how you approach the... Sometimes, Graham, and I think this is the group for it, you just run. I think you just hit W.
Charge it.
Yeah, I think add-ons provides a portal for half the team.
In a tiebreaker game where the respawns are going to be getting longer and longer, I can see why they're not doing that is because it is this one game.
Of course.
And if they make the mistake here, we've seen Dig do it.
But look at the where is the way that Atletico they find a pick onto Yada while he's invisible? Like there's really Doinkster ults on your team, gets 3-player knockup, and you maybe kill him if you don't die. There is no crafty Jack Ryan way of getting into the Phoenix Siege. If you want to go to Yemen, you just got to hit W. That's what Atletico's looking for right now. I realistically think that add-ons takes 2 people through a portal, the other 3 just siege straight, and you kind of make that X like Baron ability.
I don't know if this is a good call from Insight now.
I'm
only saying that because their Phoenix line defense is good, but if they steal it like they did the first one, they're in the driving seat. Fire Giant only at half, and here comes Doinkster.
He's up in the sky. Peel off of the FG. There's a knock him onto 2. Nice job. Zaze takes to the sky in response.
Good play from Doinkster. Like, he got the ult out of Freya. That's a win.
Yeah.
Now Freya is susceptible to being all-in, especially if you've got Yada on the Morrigan who can just find the stealth into a stun or a Giannis ultimate if he transforms. Zaze is the focus from Insight now. They kill Zaze. A lot of the damage from Atletico is gone.
Fire Giant 75. Insight waffling, trying to figure out where they want to go.
Love this. Just look at them. Chuckles are like, yep, you're tanking it. Zaze is still taking the Fire Giant hit.
Now here's the team fight. Terragon ult. Shank looking for more. Chuckles is low. Weave is half HP. Mingyu the carry on the right-hand side. There's ultimate coming out from Texi, but Chuckles has the better damage. Add-ons answers back. Mid lane on top of mid lane. 5 kills without a death for add-ons. It's 1 for 1.
Add-ons though will jump for a portal, just trying to survive, can't do so. It's 2 for 1 now in favor of Insight. Fire Giant still alive. An absolute weird fight, I'll say that. The problem is that Atletico, they want to prioritize targets, but they can't get to the targets. Their prioritization of targets is Morrigan.
Yeah, Morgan's just able to just get out of there, not able to really find a spot. And meanwhile, everybody else is just disconnected in the team fight. So we need everybody to kind of be on the same page, find themselves, and create a relevant scenario. Otherwise, they're just not able to, I mean, frankly, make it happen. It's a simple phrasing I'm going to use because that's how simple it seems.
I was going to say, it's Morrigan and also the Jingwei. They're the 2 focal targets. Maybe Doinkster, but Doinkster's so slippery, it's hard to get hold of. And that's why it's really unfortunate that we're in that situation now. But Insight now, they're the ones back on the Fire Giant. Doinkster going to the sky early. Chuckles on zone duty too. It's going to take a while with just Mingyu and Weave though, but it is slowly going down.
Fire Giant 25-10. This needs to be where OCE comes in again. Beautiful zonage from Chuckles.
Yep.
Just this guy has been playing the Kuzenbo correctly in a world where I don't like to say there's a black and white so much. He's doing it right. He's got a quick trigger finger on the ultimate. He's finding himself on the back line. I love the character as well. But he's just making use of it. And the opponent, look, he's top damn player damage, Graham.
This is really interesting. I mean, Kuzenbo's always going to be top player damage. If you don't believe that, trust me, he will be.
Chuckles also, to his credit, Chuckles has been one of the older Kuzenbo players. When Kuzenbo came out and everybody was making fun of him, El Chuckles was the guy that was doing it. And I would be remiss if I did not give him that shout out.
He's a fun character to play. He's not fun to play. You know what I mean? He's like the Thanatoses of the world.
Excuse me.
And then in the mid game, you don't care about him. But in fairness, Kuzenbo's the reverse of that. In the early game, you don't care about him. In late game, you have to. You
have
don't get a choice.
He demands your attention.
He could tank a Phoenix for 3 minutes.
You think?
Straight, easy? Yeah.
You think 3 minutes?
Yeah, I'd say 2-3. This build, yeah, I think he could do 2-3 minutes.
I wonder if he's one of the characters that can avoid being executed.
Well, he takes less damage the more he gets hit too. That's the way Kuzenbo works.
Right, because of his.
You hit him more, he takes less damage, and he's like, "All right, thanks."
Well, because last week we were talking about the intricacies of execute mechanics, and technically it's 9,999 damage.
Oh.
So in jungle practice, we've seen like Bacchuses like build up and avoid it. Chuckles might just be that guy.
I think he'll kill whoever hit him for that much damage. That's what I'd say. I wonder if it executes. Imagine if that did that, though. That'd be cool.
Oh,
Thanatos dunks him to get the kill, but also dies for it as well as it reflects the damage back.
I can think of a lot of words for it, Hidden Man. I don't think cool is one of them.
I'm excited to see how Insight play this fight now, because it's a little bit different. This should just be charged down. You were talking about W key from Atletico on the Phoenix Siege. I'm talking about W from El Chuckles on the Tier 2.
See, I'm very different. I want Doinkster to go in and jump on the backline Giannis like we've seen so far. He's going to split push, and that's going to allow him to have that ability.
Fine. I didn't see the split push coming out there.
Right.
Now, straight after the fact, that's when they realize, okay, we don't have anything.
Later.
But all 3 Phoenixes down. Sorry, all towers down on both sides of the map now. Gold doesn't really matter too much. It's just power potions and wards separating the two overall. Experience? Well, even the supports are level 20 now. They've gone a long time, these two. It's all been Insight on the aggressive, Atletico on the counter initiation. Now, we get the same again.
And see, this is a scary spot because I said before, Atletico, I'm not really a fan of their defensive prowess. You've got Shank, who I think is excellent.
Space and time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all space and time.
Space and time, sure. But if you avoid, like, there's a lot of options. You've got Doinkster, you've got Yada, who Yada can either be Shank or Doinkster, depending on the scenario. Even El Chuckles, although I think that'll be less imperative. You've got 2 options there. Weave is a great character at playing defense because he's just built to be in the middle of things. Insight has the aggressive scenario here.
We go.
Atletico just has to play with damage.
Doinkster up, Doinkster down, hits onto Zaze. Zaze using his beads, and the burst is just too much from Zaze. He gets to the sky in time, and Kuzumbo's removed for a second. He gets tickled by Taxi. All the while, the front line can't get to the Phoenix because Osha does a good job on defense.
Well, you know what? Maybe all they have to do is play with damage, but damage might just be able to do it. Here's the follow-up. Weave trying to chase down Texi. Texi just skating around like Cooper on a Thursday. Grabbed up there by the sash, and the rest of the players going to look for it. Insight. Oh, wow. What a fall. 6-0-7 for the Hunter Freya, by the way. The carry Freya, by the way.
I'm frustrated with Insight in that play because I don't understand why they're not just sending RTO and Kuzumbo to tank it. Why are they forcing the fight with Doinkster initiating? That's not what they need to do there. Doinkster should be the one following up off the initiation of the tanking by Chuckles and by Weave. And so he just telegraphed to Atletico, here they come. Oh, there's the rat. Oh, there goes the rat. And now one of them is already removed.
It needs to be in tandem. Yeah. Doinkster needs to land as Chuckles is pushing or ulting or
Doinkster
doing
should be
something.
going up as Chuckles is pushing. That's what should be when Doinkster should be initiating them.
Yeah.
That's where it should be.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, basically, you need to have 2 shots from each side.
Here we go again. Into the sky goes Doinkster. Osha forced to ult defensively. He looks at Zaze, who doesn't have beads or his ultimate available. But Zaze gets some peel once again, and no follow-up from the rest of the team.
Where's Yada? Where's Yada? Where's Yada? Where's Yada? Third from the bottom in player damage. That's where Yada's at. He has underperformed, and that's being nice to the young man.
He's been quiet.
It's been problematic. Lack of mid lane presence is what's the problem here.
2 Giannis ultimates that are impactful. The time he turned into Ratatoska, not so much. The Morrigan pick has been shut down by Atletico this game, and some of that is to do with the picks they've got. Some Wukong happy to just cause problems for Morrigan, finding her. You've got Shank, who's on the Terror, that also causes problems for Morrigan's getting in and out. And then last but not least, you've still got Texi to deal with. And the fact that there's 2 left over, Freya and Giannis, who are both very escapable in themselves, it makes it tricky to play a Morrigan into this comp and make it work.
Sure. I hear a bunch of Johns. This is your tiebreaker.
I was giving you the correct Johns because that's what people will say in response to that. Because those are good Johns.
See, that is fair, and I acknowledge all of those variables. However, Yada is a better player than that, and this is an off game for him, and that is troublesome because this is the one game of the year you can't have an off game.
I will say, coming into this tiebreaker, though, as this tiebreaker happens straight after the 2-1, the Insight won against Atletico.
And that was a
set.
That was a long set.
Is around 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So this is their 4th game in a row, and that's when you talk about stamina. Now, in a good way, the better team to come to Worlds from Australia, in my eyes, from the Oceania region, is the one with the stamina.
That's fair.
Because the games are going to be longer at Worlds. Placements is not going to be short. And you're going to have to go late in some of those games too. So stamina is a key factor in SMITE.
I'll give you that. I think that's true. With that said, this is the game. I don't care what happens. You have to perform here.
Your years on this, basically.
You have to perform here. You have to perform here.
Look at this split, though. I love what Texi's done. This time, 4-1 split, yes. That's what I wanted to see. Make sure they divide. Doinks is someone that has to go in defensive. He can't try and defend with result. That's drawn Yarder in, looking for a kill.
Oh, and he gets the stun, but he can't even get the kill. Oh!
Beats were great. Aegis after the fight. Yarder, though, gets outplayed by the sash from Texi. All the while, this is drawn 2 members. His team, though, can't get the Phoenix because they've got a Freya AD carry.
Shank dropping the Terra ultimate as well. Mingyu trying to play defense. Weave is in trouble, but drops down the cripple field, and the dash stops in the tracks.
Oh, just off the mark, but they're going for kills and not the Phoenixes because the base has been routed. 2 Phoenixes down, the Titans under siege.
Half H. Oh my goodness, what is that damage? Insight's Titan falls to the wayside. We'll see you at LAN, Team Insight.
Atletico.
Really?
It said Atletico.
Well, that's what it says right there.
They were blue team. It says it there.
How
do I put that? Oh, it's that way. Yeah, it's there.
My official apologies out there. Atletico, Coach Cutie, we will see you one more time. You know, I was looking for a little bit of diversity, but seeing these guys one more time, very exciting. I hope I get a jacket.
I actually want to see the standings as well, just to see how the other regions played out, I guess. Overall, in each one for SGS, Brazil will be sending No Ping Esports Black Dragons to
this is the first time in a long time.
So surprised by that. I'm looking forward to seeing No Ping Esports. Atletico coming again. A couple of roster changes there too, but that's an exciting team. Get on my level, beating Mashu, boys. Then you've also got Lotto Gaming, which you would have expected to see Why So Serial. We've seen them a few times. Of course, though, Nocturne's Gaming, the one true hope of SGS, I feel, because they're the ones that are just consistent time.
I don't know.
I'm surprised by Brazil.
I'm excited to see Get On My Level and Get On My Level and Get On My Level represent Get On My Level.
Again.
I'm excited.
The Gommel squad. Although, No Ping Esports, definitely the one that I'm interested in taking a look at, because we've seen Cliz and the boys for so many years from Brazil, and all of a sudden, it's not there.
Crazy change there. Once again, it all comes down to a single game series. The MLB is not the only one that has it right here in the SGS. Atletico take it over Insight in a fantastic 46-minute game. Great stuff there coming out here as far as our global series is concerned, but we're in our final step of the Pro League as well. Stay tuned. We've got SMITE Pro action on the way. We'll see you at 1.